the weight then comes back to Kaseka, for example, to kind of clean up. If Joystick doesn't get his frags on entry, then there'll be another guy ready there. They're never really that far away from each other, and they keep the push up. It's the same thing. So it's surprising how no team has like figured out how to really stop this. There are so many VODs to watch, and you only really have to watch 1 or 2 of their games to kind of have an idea of how they play, but they just dominate everyone with sheer skill.
I think someone described it in a perfect way, in my opinion. Empire is, in execution, Vitality, but faster. And I think that is a very fair description of at least back in the days Vitality. Now we have our maps up on the board. We're going to go to Coastline, Consulate, and Border as our decider.
I mean, there's not much much different coming out from Empire here. They've banned, I think, banked 10 times and Villa 17 times so far the last 3 months. So these are the 2 maps that they always ban.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about highlight maps, I really like Team Liquid out of the gate, getting rid of Oregon. So that's actually been Team Empire's best map for quite a while. They haven't banned it a single time, and they have undefeated it so far.
And here's the thing. Coastline picked by Team Liquid, a map they infamously rarely played throughout the entirety of this year, but also a map that's a lot of teams in Europe will call the easiest way, quote unquote, to try and defeat Empire. So that probably builds into the strategy for it.
Also the only map they've ever lost twice on.
And keep in mind, they've basically only lost 1 series.
Yeah. I mean, they've lost 3 maps so far in 3 months.
It's pretty impressive, to say the least. I mean, you have an extra tie, right? But that was against G2.
I mean, if you're tying against G2, you don't have much to complain about, right?
No.
You're talking about G2 here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people reference, Pro League and how their performance is, but, playing from Hawaii, it definitely is something you have to keep in mind, at least at that level. At least that's what Fabian said, so I'll believe him. But Team Liquid, though, on your side, Dev, what do they have to do to try and make sure that we don't end up in a similar fashion where when Liquid played G2 able to shut down the roam play that is Nesk when he plays solo, because they kind of figured him out even back in the day. What do they have to do to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, if there are any learnings that we can take from the first quarterfinal that we've already had today, I think that it's that sometimes you can throw the textbook out the window if you're feeling a good match, or if you're feeling a poor match. We saw Fnatic, they've been so good so far, and they weren't feeling it today, and they didn't show up. Norengo were the opposite, and I think that Liquid are a team that will rely on being in shape and feeling confident, and if they don't have that, if their fans aren't cheering hard enough, if they don't feel that support, if there's not enough positivity behind them, fueling them to take this, I think Empire can run away with it.
And that's something on the crowd here. If you're cheering for Team Liquid, well, you better believe Dev, because they might need your support for this one. Empire, however, they're a well-oiled machine, and I think a machine is a perfect way our Lord and Savior Panari was able to describe the man known as Joystick. We might not have Sleben, the super power player, but we have Bucky himself here on the stage, and to say the least, Joystick is a machine. He's got everybody behind him as well in Empire to make sure he can frag out with the best.
Without a doubt. And if you go into, let's say you get to 3rd or 4th round and you've seen that they still run the same thing that you've always been, the stuff you've been prepping for, every WOD you've watched, it's still the same attack. If that starts happening and you're not winning, that's got to be such a demoralizing defeat.
Yeah, and we've been seeing it on Consulate, for example. We talked about it so much today. Every single time Empire just push through Consulate, they go for admin take, and then they keep moving, plowing into the site, and just nothing can be done from the other side, unfortunately. But that is all for this part, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to kick off game number 2. Latin America, will they advance on to the semifinals and make sure that Brazil's name stands up high for as long as possible in the tournament? Will Russia prevail and move on to the semis? We'll just have to see. Empire versus Team Liquid. Beautiful casters, Emzo and Flynn. Have fun, boys.
Thank you very much. Milos and the desk. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2nd game of the quarterfinals of the 2019 6 Invitational, live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Flynn, as Milos so astutely said, and I'm joined by Emzo for the 2nd game. Empire versus Liquid, as has been iterated plenty of times. Liquid, the sole remaining hope for Latin America to come away with a world championship. They have a seasonal championship, but Empire, as was also mentioned on the desk, only dropping 3 maps in the last 3 months.
Yeah, I'm really looking to see how much stamina Liquid has left, because their matches in group stages were some of the longest we had by far, so they had to work the hardest, had the 1 day off, whereas Empire, pretty much been breezing through those. So this is going to be down to whether or not these map bans were enough for Liquid, because if it does come out of the side, that's also a good map for them. But they're going to have to get there. And it comes down to whether or not they can take them on Coastline here. And I think it is down to Empire to show that they can take Coastline just fine. And if they do, it's going to be a really scary story here for Liquid going this. But op bans also going to be key on that. Will they waste an attacker ban on Ashe on joystick? It's hard to say.
Team Empire going to start out by banning Ying. Pretty standard, considering they don't use a lot of operators that require a lot of coordination or extracurricular utility. They're very simple in their strategies and their operator picks.
Well, there's a target against Scyther, who's been playing a very good Zofia a lot of the time. And a ban you just don't see that often these days, despite the pick rates slightly being higher during the Invitational group stages than we see during Pro League. Jaeger there being a ban that we have seen in the past on this map, although if I remember correctly, it was from Liquid, and so no surprise to see them do it again. We'll see, there we go. Pretty much the defender bans matching what we expect from these two teams, but the attacker bans are a bit different this time. Should be fun to see if those actually have a significant effect on the play. But it does mean a joystick can be running without Ashe, although we could see him, maybe just getting comfortable playing something else for once. And whether that be Jackal or IQ or something else that his team happens to need him on. Either way, though, you got to give him a 3-speed operator, preferably.
Yeah, that's one of the things about joystick is he is most notorious for running Ashe if it's available. If it's been banned out, he'll most likely swap to the Jackal. And then on defense, he's a pure-blooded Jaeger main.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle for him having to play something else on defense. If they could take quite a few good initial rounds here on defense, that bodes very well for them, because then he gets to play his preferred attacker at least.
Starting out with a hookah and billiards defense with a 6-pick from Scyther and Sexy Cake apiece, IQ to a Glass, and over to the Echo from the Maestro. And it's interesting that both of those informational and plant delay and denial ops are still allowed through them. The operator bans are quite intriguing to me. Mirror is pretty standard, takes away your Pent Theater defense, but everywhere else is still viable. The Jaeger, I imagine nades will most likely be
they're hoping those smokes come in very easily. They're hoping those both from Glass and Dokkaebi make a huge difference in them being able to plant, because this is a bomb site. You absolutely need smokes to plant it successfully. If they're also going to be running the Glass with that, even more reason you need those smokes. But I think that Echo 6-pick is really going to help with that, because they are going to have the ability to see from above the smoke. No, it's not perfect. It won't see people inside the smoke, but you can get a good guess where they are inside that smoke. Fire a few shots off. Yeah, you only get 2 free recharge, but if he keeps both on site, he certainly could deny. And Joystick looking for some early pain, unfortunately, not finding the shots. Either way, though, that is down to Gohan at least half health, and that's more than enough to do some damage.
Joystick trying to set the tempo early. And it looks like we need a rehost.
Yeah, minor problems there. Not sure what's going on, but that's going to give both teams a chance to really think about that 6th pick if they're able to gauge what they were. More likely than not, they were able to discern the 6th pick of that Doc coming out there from Joystick. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't the 6th pick Joystick, but the Echo. Depending on whether or not the drones were able to get close enough into it, but it's very doubtful the defenders knew what the 6th pick was for the attackers. So we'll see if that factors in, because the Glass is definitely going to be an important part of the sneakiness of this play, although at some point he's likely to give himself away with the gunshot sound. But of course, either team can change what they actually play as. It's just a matter of whether or not they have that information to discuss during this rehost.
Well, I imagine, as is typical with the rehost, all the operators will be the same, the objective will be the same. Not really sure what caused the rehost there, but we will press on. Also, you were talking about how the Echo drones wouldn't be able to see through the smoke, but Joystick, having to swap off his trusty Jaeger role and pick up a Doc, was bringing a bulletproof camera that he slapped right on the reinforcement.
Certainly will help with that. Yeah, and that's something we've seen from a lot of teams, especially with Maestro being banned so often. You need something to be able to see through those, and there are quite a few other operators that can bring bulletproof cameras, but he's probably the most reliable, as he was generally picked more often than not over Rook for his gadget, in this case barbed wire. Once they gave him the bulletproof camera and that slowly caught on, that has kind of become the trend at the moment, and you stick other people on barbed wire, but it's always a toss-up for Smoke, because more often than not he is bringing barbed wire, but we're seeing the impact of impact grenades really kind of making it more of a decision than it used to have to be.
Just awaiting everyone getting back into lobby and get underway. But I think you're right, banning out the Jaeger most definitely will instigate a lot of these smoke plants to come through, and the loss of the Ying is pretty instrumental, honestly, in trying to execute some of those smoke plans back.
It really should speed up these rounds in theory, but I think it makes flanks that much more impactful because when you get the smokes out, the attackers can't see through the smoke either except for glass. So they're going to be very, very focused on their site execute. If you can take out or get by some of those flank holds, or just perhaps not get caught on the drones, there's a good chance we could see, say, a roaming Doc coming out from Joystick to sneak up because he's always extremely mobile, even if he's on a 1-speed. I have a feeling his potential flank would be the biggest weakness they have here because they're going to be focused on an earlier execute with those smokes since they don't have to burn Jaeger's ADSs.
So with Empire starting out on defense as well, Coastline has been an interesting map to follow as far as trends are concerned. For the last season and a half or so, Coastline has been extremely attacker-sided, one of the most attacker-sided maps in the comp pool. And as soon as we came into this new season, Season 9, with the lack of Lion being available, or a possibility to just be insta-banned out, a lot of maps, almost every single map in the game now has trended defensive-sided because of that information-gathering meta that we are currently in. So Coastline's a tricky one. It used to be you never want to start on defense on Coast. You want to start and run up the scoreboard on your attacks, and even if you get down while starting on defense, you don't have to worry too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's also the case where they did ban out an important operator for the defense here in that Jaeger, not just for the utility, but for the way that Joystick plays on it, is because of that flank potential. This is already a map where getting those long roam flanks are already difficult to pull off unless you get an attacker just very focused on site execute themselves or not doing a good enough job on flank watch. And so it's all the more important that he has a 3-speed to make that sneak around because he's so mobile, so flexible in doing so. This is going to be very, very difficult on their defense to do so, which means we may see a lot of turtling coming out from Empire in these initial few rounds, but it's going to be something they're going to have to figure out. Luckily for them, this rehost will give them a chance, if they were not expecting that Jaeger ban, to start to rethink some of their defensive strategies in terms of what will Joystick play, because it was always just a given that he would play Jaeger. More often than not, it was Ash ban against him, not Jaeger. So this is going to be a little bit of a monkey wrench for them.
Yeah, this is one of the rare instances in which Jaeger has been banned against Joystick. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get back underway on Coastline, map number 1 between Liquid and Team Empire. Rehost is completed, and we'll go back to 0-0 on round 1. But like I said, operators will be the same, objective will be the same. We will press on with the exact same operator bans and try and do this again.
Yeah, shouldn't be too many surprises here. Sexy though, almost accidentally picking 2 the glass to start out with. There we go, we'll get their picks underway though. Again, they have to pick the same operator in the end, but they don't have to show those same picks early on. Whether or not they got spotted out doesn't necessarily factor into that. They're just gonna go for the 6 picks for safety. In case it didn't get spotted, might as well continue to hide it, especially with the time that they had to think about things. You wanna take advantage of anything you have there. And you do see that looks like we have barbed wire on the smoke, just relating to the discussion from earlier on whether or not he would have that. And as you mentioned, the bulletproof camera is going to be coming out from that dock. Nice thing now is we can see the full loadouts on both sides of the screen here. On this ginormous screen is something we usually don't have, so it's for us casters especially a nice touch. Helps out with that in terms of not having to call out the spectator window switches for us.
Well, using some of that new utility we have as casters, we can see that Shockwave on the Legion is bringing a deployable shield, which is possibly one of the weirdest loadouts you can bring a deployable shield with, considering the impacts are crucial in making successful rotates on this map. The walls inside of Hookah don't like to cooperate with shotguns very well.
Yeah, they didn't bring any impacts, which is a very odd choice because you do want to make some of those destructible holes. They do have a smoke shotgun to be able to do that, and I suppose they're going to be relying on that a bit, but that can take quite a while, not to mention you run low on ammo. You can see he's already getting fairly low, and chances are you may need to use that in a fight because his pump has been the game ender or the round ender for a lot of fights these days.
Well, Liquid starting out pretty standard, to be honest, moving from west entrance, or main entrance, sorry, on the east side, and pushing over, and I imagine, yes, Nask will be hopping up on the pink tarp outside of Hookah window. Probably one of the most popular spots nowadays to try and flush anyone out from in behind the Hookah Bard, most typically a Smoke, who's playing for late game in any of those aquarium pushes, but it looks like Nask is more concerned with, I guess, a call coming out that there is an operator tucked inside the corner of Hookah, right behind benches, and that's a very aggressive and not very standard position for Shockwave to be playing, but it could catch Liquid off guard if they're not careful.
It is fun to see this site go from probably the least played when Coastline kind of came into the meta, to now one of the most played, in the sense that teams really know how to defend this well, can do so because of that bomb spot you see right there and the holes in the floor. Gonna make it hard to try and get this plant down because you almost always have to plant that default spot. But with 4 smokes available, it is possible they could go for a pool table plant or some of the more risky plants that require a lot of smoke coverage to do. You don't necessarily need the smokes, as many smokes to just cover your body, but the more smokes you could throw, the harder it is for that Echo player specifically to guess where you might be playing out for the plant itself, because stunning someone who's not the planner is just not going to be effective.
You got a double stack out on the aquarium balcony from Zig and Sexy Cake, and you also had Joystick roaming downstairs from Sunrise Bar. Here come the first set of smokes coming out, and they'll rip right into the aquarium bar to safety, and Paula holds their flank. So here comes that aquarium push, and Nesk, we got the first kill of the match against Shepard. That's the smoke too, gone early without deploying any utility. Joystick trying to go for a run out, battling back and forth with Gohan, but he comes out worse for wear. Shockwave with a great peek on a purple tarp to take down Nesk. So response back in a level man count at 50 seconds remaining. Joystick still inside of the Sunrise entrance, doing battle with Gohan back and forth, pulling a tight angle as Gohan, and he'll win it out on a Joystick with the SMG-11. Puts Empire back in a man disadvantage. The Nitro Cell will not connect on any intended targets, and now the Echo drones will be the only plant denial left with 30 seconds left and smoke smothering the bomb site. There's not a lot left to be done here for Empire other than bull rushing everyone when they try to go for the plant attempt.
Yeah, those early smokes now kind of backfiring on them. Yeah, they managed to get some early picks onto Joystick and to Shepard, but Shepard was really the important kill of those two. They still don't have a lot for Glass to work with, as he doesn't have any of his own smokes left either. So Karjeka, though, finally getting pinched out of shock as well in his fights.
Trades back and forth with 10 seconds remaining. It'll leave Scyther now in a 1v2, battling back and forth on a crouch-peeking Sexy Cake behind a deployable shield. And the Echo drone watching. Oh, he might be able to get this. Scyther, the plant going down by Zig. And Scyther will stop it with the Yokai. Empire will take round number 1. What a beautiful clutch there from Scyther, playing the patient game, using his utility perfectly. And Liquid not aggressing for that kill in the dying moments.
That's exactly what they needed. Without the smoke and play, the only real denial they had was those Echo drones, and that's the smart way to play it. The nice thing about having 2 of them and no IQ being played is there's a very good chance you get to keep at least 1 alive. Not sure how pre-placed those were, but those certainly factored in to his ability to win this. Nesk, it was a great kill there. Something I talk about a lot is just not enough pressure on that window very often, and that's exactly what you need to do. Put pressure on him when he's focused on stopping it. The early smokes they threw out did help with that because they distracted Smoke into thinking, are they going for a rush plant? Do I need to be prepared to throw those toxic canisters? Gave a perfect opportunity for Nesk to tag him from behind. So great coordination there. But in the end, they did nothing about the Yokais, and that was really what cost them. Interesting though, we will see this round, they are going to be bringing the Maestro instead of the Echo, so they're going to have the ability to see through that smoke without depending on Doc's bulletproof camera. They're not going to be bringing the bulletproof camera on Vigil either, but they will finally have impact nades this round.
Good decisions, like I said. The walls on Coastline, at the bottom anyway, are not favorable to shotgun blasts for forming rotations and map manipulation. You really need an impact at the bottom of most of those walls.
Especially for Joystick. If he's going to be mobile and sneak around a bit better this time, not just get stuck in a gunfight against Sledge this time, that is really going to be a big factor. Also, his ability to stay away from drones as much as possible will offer some opportunity to counter the plant if it goes to come down. Because again, that Glaz and Dokkaebi combo with 4 sets of smokes is really tough to deal with. Last time, though, they kind of mismanaged their smoke play. Yes, they did get the pick on smoke because of it, but I don't know if it was really worth it in terms of lack of coverage towards the end.
Well, it would be a far side pushover once again for Liquid, spawning main entrance on the east side, and most likely take the exact same pathing. They'll just realize that the bomb site is downstairs as opposed to top floor, but essentially in the same location on the map. And I imagine Joystick will be out. What? Why?
All right. Well, there's that.
It's so unnecessary. Why would you do that?
Joystick actually sticking above sight here at the moment, though. These little peek holes definitely going to be a problem because you can't really drone out exactly where he's at. Yes, you know he might be behind one of them, but in that split second, when you're deciding which one, you're likely dead at that point. You're going to have to hope to get a lucky shot, and he's more than likely going to shoot you before you even finish coming around a corner. So tough to deal with here. Pal's going to go look to potentially take VIP or Penthouse first. You see the drone there from Sexy Cake helping him clear out VIP, but there is a spot there. He's going to have to deal with it. Unfortunately for him, his drone all the way downstairs.
You can see a 3-man hold right now for Empire. Top side, Karjeka, Scyther, and Joystick currently manning the top floor inside of Billiards, Hookah, and Cool Vibe stairs. And Scyther's moved downstairs to join the rest of the team. So it's now a 2-man hold. Joystick and Karjeka, the usual duo, roaming upstairs. And Joystick with a flurry of pre-fires, but none of them will connect. They'll just delay Gohan's entry into hookah. And that's exactly what Gohan wants to do. Get in here, rip up the floorboards, displace the anchors from their powerful positions in behind the bar and inside of Cubby.
Well, it is definitely slow going for the attack this time compared to last time, but an early kill there, plus some good damage on Joystick and Scyther means this is again sliding the way of Liquid, not to mention they have the most important fraggers like Galaz still alive. Joystick cannot seem to get the kill, just hold them off as long as possible, but hey, a minute burned is still going to be very useful because they need that top floor control for a solid execute.
You can see Shockwave flexing up Cool Vibe stairs in support of Joystick, and they're still holding out inside of Cool Vibes, inside of Hookah right now. There is no contestation right now from Liquid, even though they have the man advantage, and time dwindling away now from Liquid. Slow going on the advances, but Nesk has slowly made his way into Office to try and pressure from the backside, while the rest of his team is pushing from the Sunrise entrance. And contention through that drone hole at the bottom of the stairs from Shockwave with that Alda. It's a lot of shots, even though it's at the feet. Pretty close range will rip you up with that fire rate. And lots of punch holes used to distract Paula, and that will completely facilitate Joystick's escape over towards the Office hatch, and he might be able to drop straight on Nesk if he's not prepared.
Well, this is completely dependent on the smoke working out with the C4s and the toxic canisters working against him. There's 2 kills and they're traded back by Gohan.
13 seconds down, it's down to a 3v2 in favor of Liquid. Joystick trying to rush out, but he spots the man inside of Kitchen. A lance of pre-fires will not connect, pulling out the CZ close range, but the plant will go down by Liquid. Zig will shut down Joystick. It's all down to Shepard now, who was just previously on drone moments ago. 1v3 for Shepard to work his way out of. No utility left other than the bullets left in his guns, and he's trying to slowly press his way out of the blue bar doorway, but there's a crossfire from Gohan and Sexy Cake trying to establish a 1v1. Shepard will win it out onto Gohan, now turning his attention back towards Sunrise. A 5 HP Sexy Cake laying him prone behind the bar. Oh, what a shot by Shepard! All he has left is Zig laying prone right on the other side of the bar from him. He has no idea, doesn't even know where the plant is. He's gonna hop up on the bar behind him, twisting and turning in the wind, and Zig will win it out just barely on the hip fire with the SMG-12. A game of cat and mouse ends up with Liquid drawing level at 1 apiece.
The ironic part is, had he looked down first, easily would have had that kill. It is funny, too, to see Shepard going from the first to die to the last to die at the end of the round. Definitely clutchable for him, though, despite the 3v1 situation. Just down to misplays. Lack of information clearly is what cost him there. They did not know where he was laying, but some great plays by both teams in terms of whittling down the kills, especially towards the end of the round, just delaying long enough that the desperation came out for smoke plants from Liquid. But I am impressed they were able to at least get the plant down in all that chaos, some of that due to just how many people were playing off-site, especially with Joystick being cut off by that Kitchen crossfire, eventually losing his life as he tried to peek it. So we'll see if they're going to try bar again. Might be able to pull it off this time.
Back to Sunrise Bar and Blue Bar, like you said, and it's a case of Empire getting caught up in that top hold, just investing too much utility and manpower topside for a little too long. They did their job installing it out, but once that site execute came in through the Sunrise entrance doorway, there wasn't a lot to repel it on the side of Empire, and they just got overwhelmed on the objective and attempted to retake. A beautiful attempt there by Shepard. By no means was he any slouch on that round. However, just the manpower was not there to try and counteract that 20-second push that Liquid was facilitating through the Sunrise entrance, and that's kind of been the theme for Liquid throughout the group stage, honestly. Their time management has been a little suspect lately.
Now, I wouldn't read too much into the first 2 rounds here, as both teams are just warming up. They had a little bit of a false start at the beginning with the rehost, and that is something that is going to take you even longer to warm up because of that, because you start to get warmed up, get stalled out real quick. So I would say more closer to halfway point of this map is when we'll see both teams really firing on all cylinders, as they've only gotten 2 rounds in. But Nesk has been doing fairly well on this Ashe play, stayed alive very long into that last round as well. He's looking to put some hurt on them again. This is something they need to be able to shut down. Perhaps Joystick could try and catch him out on a particular spot if he gets some idea how he's playing this attack, but he's actually getting very close to the actual site before anyone knows he's there. And with the amount of intel on the defender side, you'd think they would be able to catch him maybe a little bit earlier, just either do some barbed wire or the Maestro Evil Eyes. But Shockwave still playing his off-site play, much like last time on those stairs. Nesk just worried about getting dropped on from behind.
And that was the path that Joystick at least attempted to take in the back half of the round there when the side execute was coming from Liquid. It was that he wanted to rotate into Aquarium, and he did so by distracting Paula with the punch holes and making a quick escape towards the hatch. We just flipped away before we could see the result of the onslaught that was there, but I imagine Ness caught him off guard as he died rather quickly after we switched away towards the site execute. And once again, Liquid, midway through the round, not a lot of entry into the building other than Nesk's position inside of Office, and clearly, actually now he's backed all the way out CC, gone to Lambo, and rotating over through Kitchen Hallway as a frag grenade will come out from Gohan and soar well wide of any intended target inside of Hookah.
It's always nice when Jaeger's banded. You know you don't have to worry about, have I cleared this, have I not? That really makes for much better frag grenade throws in terms of just going for it without needing a teammate there. But just the fact that it wasn't able to hit Joystick or the deployable shield just shows he didn't do good enough droning in terms of managing to have the right arc for that. So still wasted utility either way.
Split manpower right now for Liquid is a little fascinating. You've got 2 people stacked over by Office, you've got Nesk inside of Kitchen, you've got 2 people outside of Sunrise entrance. And okay, Nesk prepping the remote Ash launcher into a wooden barricade. That means everything is about to break loose in about 10 seconds. Here comes the Skeleton Key with the frag grenade in tandem with Nesk rushing straight through, but Six can get down to the Sunrise entrance door. More manpower on site now for Empire to try and repel this immediate abrupt push into sight. In behind the bar now, laying prone. There's 2 Empire defenders trying to counteract Sexy Cake and Zig from pushing in. They've already made it in on the entry. Actually, no, they're floundering around outside, but Ness breaking through. Paul will grab another one, cut down from behind by Shockwave. Still a 4v3 advantage. They're getting the plant down now by Zig. No time left on the clock. This is going to go into the overtime, and Joystick going for an extremely long run out. He's completely detected. It's a complete wipe for Liquid. Now establishing a lead. 2 consecutive successful attacks on the Sunrise bar, and just not enough utility left on site again for Empire.
One thing I do like is with the Jaeger band, they're spending the time to coordinate a lot of their pushes based off of the smokes themselves coming out. And a lot of that coordination is with Nesk. We saw it in the very first round where they coordinated the smoke coming out just to kind of bait out the smoke himself to be facing away, give Nesk a free kill. Same thing here. Nesk, looking for his opportunity, did get the 1 kill, but when he went to go for the flank through Blue Bar, completely got cut off. So it's nice timing, great ideas on that, but Joystick's inability to do anything because he can't rotate fast enough late is really what's pushing him, because here's what they're doing in Liquid. Okay, we coordinate off the first set of smokes. That's when Nesk is going to do the thing. Second set of smokes is when it's going to bait them out to come down for a retake rotate because they want to stop our smoke plants because just they don't have enough impact nades or other utility to stop it. That's exactly when they're cutting off those rotations back. You're getting into situations where Joystick's dying, for example, and it's smart play by Liquid. Bait them into those retakes, cut off their rotations, have that extra set of smokes so you can burn them for that, have the extra utility with the frag grenades as well because nothing's going to stop those, this time going with the sledge instead of the buck. And it's working fairly regularly. Now they can go back to Hookah because they've defended bar twice. But will they be as successful this time? Because last time it was just down to the Echo play, which they are bringing out again this time. And it's going to be a little better prepared.
guard last time, and Joystick has now been droned out downstairs in blue bar.
Well, hopefully they focus some attention on him as he just distracts, because that will divert some attention from the actual push. But at the same time, they've got all 5 alive, so plenty they can do. And there we go with Karjeka already taking half his health, and then a grenade to finish him off.
Good nade there. Oh, a good peek from Shockwave, but get immediately traded out. It's 2 for Liquid, now down to Shepard and Scyther. Scyther will fall. Shepard with 1 with the shotgun. Another 1v3 attempt, and he's got Diffuser down inside of Hookah, trying to play it close range. Shotguns on doorways for her second Toxic Bait will come out now. Try and delay the push in through the door. They still have the rotate at the top of Cool Vibe stairs to worry about. 15 seconds tick away. The last Toxic Babe again choking out the doorway. Here comes the rotate in the ping, and a beautiful shot by Shepard. Whips at the shotgun. In return, a pinch coming from both sides. Now gets 1, but no! Paul on the vault. Rips right through with the F2. It's an extended lead now for Liquid. Up 3-1.
Great clutch attempt, though, by Shepard. The fact that he was able to get the diffuser down in there was a big mistake by Liquid, but the fact that there was also the ability for them to rotate around on him from 2 different positions, definitely a big problem for them. Only so much you can do. Great heads-up play, though, in getting the first kill and then rotating around, getting that second kill. But in the coordinated way that they were playing that, Liquid had the advantage, unfortunately.
You can see in the replay there, just a very unfortunate timing there for Joystick as he's standing up behind the bar, completely exposed to the blue bar window, and he's checking cams with about 20 seconds left. And honestly, Joystick has not had much impact on this game so far through 4 rounds. Granted, his Jaeger is banned. And
I think that's a big problem, and something that he's struggled with consistently is having his operators banned against him just because of lack of diversity of his operators.
That's kind of the story for Empire as a whole, is lack of diversity. They play typically the same 5 or 6 operators. Ooh, we got a Valkyrie coming in for Shockwave now. So we've seen a little bit of a flexing from Empire here, and that's also been a storyline for them through the first half of Season 9 of Pro League, is that they used to be a very 2-person-centric team, which was Joystick and Karjeka. Those were the carries. Team Empire has not lost Coastline since last year's Invitational. Since then, they are 11-0 on the map. You gotta be kidding me.
They are certainly looking very good on it. Now, of course, keep in mind, it is very, very common when side switches to see the comeback from the other side. So even if Liquid go into the second half with a lead, there's a strong chance that Empire come back from it. And we've seen pretty much every one of Liquid's matches is go down to the wire, especially the ones against Mocket. So it is still a complete chance for Empire to take this back, because they're only down 2 points. This is Liquid's map, though, so this is something they were hoping to. Now, of course, with that stat we just saw popped up, that also means there's a lot of VOD footage of Empire on it. And as you mentioned, lack of diversity means that they're just not changing up what they do too much, although the fact that they actually banned the Jaeger does mean there's something they have to deal with that is not a known quantity, in the sense that we don't necessarily know how Joystick's going to play that Vigil. It has left him alive a lot of the time. It's the fact that he's not being impactful. He's doing a very good job at delaying, which honestly is his job more often than not as a roamer. But it's the fact that he's not able to get some of those late flank kills that I think is really hampering the defense, because once Liquid goes into execute mode, we're just seeing too many kills come out from them in a row, and Empire not in positions to trade the back, not in rotatable positions to safely retake it. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need more of those impact nades, more rotations to be able to make those happen. But a good initial kill there by Gohan. Again, that Jaeger ban working out for them, again on Shepard.
That was a frag grenade coming sailing into Hookah, and that will remove Shepard from play again. The smoke of Shepard dispatched of before being able to use any utility at all. And now Gohan will repel on the Hookah window, aiming in again. You could acquire the same angle from the purple tarp or pink tarp, but that's a much more convoluted process to get up there, and I imagine Liquid are trying to look for simplicity, considering their time management still hasn't been great. They've been converting rounds in those flurry of kills at the end, but the time management still a little questionable.
This is a big deal spotting out the Echo, though, because they can start to put pressure on him. Any pressure put on him, even if it's just with pre-fired shots, will distract him from being on his yokai drone, which will give them the opportunity to plant much stronger. So they just need to keep tabs on him towards the end of that execute. If they could do so and have enough manpower, there's very little he could do without getting killed midway through using his yokai, because he's going to have no sound or other ways to tell if anyone's approaching him. Could just be a straight knife to the face. Here's Star to execute, but Scyther to trade one back as the defuse getting planted.
He coming out in a Nitro Cell from Shockwave will stop the attempted plant, and now one downed is Paula in the hallway. A second one peeking from the same angle, and Nets gets 2. Karjeka will fall. It's down to Joystick and Shockwave on separated angles on opposite sides of the objective. Joystick still inside of Aquarium. The diffuser is down, though. Oh, what a great double peek there from Shockwave. That's 2 that'll fall in, leaving Gohan alone. Coming up, Cool Vibes. We'll trade it out immediately. Joystick up against Gohan on opposite sides of the objective. Diffuser dead smack in the middle at the hookah doorway. 3 fires go through from Gohan, revealing his position, and an attempted plant. Most likely a fake from Gohan, but no. Joystick too far away, and he'll get spotted out on the drones. Pre-fires to the wall will not connect, and Gohan will get the plant down, immediately evacuate out to the balcony, and hold the angle from the doorway. And Joystick, thinking about a vault out the big window, thought better of it, and will now rotate down hallway towards Cool Vibes' door of Hookah. Very wary of him playing anywhere in behind the benches. No connections yet, and there's no intel really here to be provided for Empire or Joystick to know where Gohan is outside, and this will be the easiest sound cue of Gohan's life. It'll be up to Joystick to bait it and know that he's close angle. Gohan plays it perfectly on the patience game. Liquid running away with this one on Coastline, up 4-1.
I gotta say, those Shockwaves pick over 2 Valkyrie definitely made a huge impact in that round with that nice 3K that he got. Just much, much better play from him that round, at least more impactful. But again, the problem we're seeing with Joystick, too far away to rotate back. This is such a hard map, though, as I've often referred to it as the square donut, just the inability to rotate around very accurately without jumping through the middle, which is the donut part. That is going to be the courtyard where you cannot rotate down and then back up. So you can rotate into it, but doing so costs you your verticality. So if you need to get back upstairs, you can't rotate through courtyard. And you saw what happened there. He was stuck over on the other side, couldn't rotate well. I mean, yeah, he could have rotated, I suppose, down Cool Vibes and tried to use that hole they had there. But it's still, that's a long run to make. And just their target ban against him really hurting Empire's play here on this map. And maybe this could be the first time we see it go down for them, just because every single time, despite how close these clutches have been, they've not been good enough. And it's some of that just seems like Empire not figuring out where the last players are at the right time. But of course, the attacker's gonna have drones in position, whereas the defenders cannot do the same thing. And Empire smartly calling a timeout to try and stop any bleeding on their last round of defense. Better to call it now than before the side switch, so you could still do something about your defensive rounds based off what you learned from the first 5.
Just a quick explanation of the tactical timeout for anyone who is unaware back home, as I imagine we have a myriad of new viewers coming in because this is the biggest event of the year for Rainbow Six Siege. A tactical timeout is a 30-second pause during the op pick phase of a round. Each team can call 1 per map. In considering we're in a best-of-3 series, that would be 6 total, should they elect to use them all. They don't have to.
Yeah, and it didn't really lead to many operator changes other than Shockwave actually playing as the Valkyrie again this time. But other than that, no changes really from either side. I mean, for Liquid side, why should you be changing at this point? It's been working very well. No real variations on bomb sites here either. It's either hookah or bar. Consistently, they're trying both sides both times until they're forced to switch, which so far was only the one hookah win on step 1 of round 1.
5 seconds to go.
But I don't know, Empire seems to really be struggling to warm up to the way Liquid are playing. Liquid are playing just smart aggression in terms of their timing, and their inability to deal with the double sets of smokes coming out is going to continue to cost them. But the one advantage they have had is they managed to get the diffuser dropped in compromised positions a couple of times. Just not been able to execute off that in terms of having enough manpower left to do something about it, and a big part of that is Nesk. Nesk has been allowed to do pretty much whatever he wants on the map. They were talking during the pre-match analysis about how impactful Nesk is, and he's continuing to demonstrate that in this match here. They need to shut him down. There needs to be a joystick flank on the way he's playing to shut him down early, even if it costs him his own life in a trade. Doing that early enough in the round, honestly, would be probably enough to win them the round, just enough to tip it in the scale, time management-wise, that Liquid can't get the execute through.
We also talked about that first round that they won, which was a 1v2 clutch by Scyther, and really only possible because of the Yokai drone's position and Liquid not spotting it out. Without that stroke of luck, it would be a 5-0, and for the first 5 rounds, it come down to a 1v1. So it's not like they're too far out of reach, and it's usually what it does come down to, but 30 seconds left and a 5v5 slaughter always comes down to the trades.
Oh, no. They need to get him back up, or that is going to be... They can execute so much faster if they can just finish him off.
Scyther down, currently down inside of Cubby downstairs, and responsible for both of those Yokai drones, like we just talked about. Crucial for intel and late round plays to delay the plant attempt and possibly even deny it outright in the dying seconds. Shepard very worried though, very cautious, does not want to make a preemptive push without the information that he is safe, and he's very much not safe. Paula
might have to use a smoke just to cover that rotation. Well, in this case. He's not going to elect to. There we go. There's the smoke to cover the rotation. As the phone calls come out, he's hoping to be able to at least answer the call first. But Scyther being in such a bad position, he will have to stand up the minute he gets revived. That's really what's going to cost him, because yes, you can revive him crouched, but he's not going to stay in that position, and that could be enough to get the finish kill on him, because 50% health isn't a lot. Luckily, at least he's 3 armor. However, the grenade says otherwise. Shockwave at least trading one back on Pala.
At least the drones were already up with 45 seconds again. We enter a 4v4. Here come the phone calls, here come the skeleton key, here come the smokes, and again, it's this rapid push in from Liquid. Ness will claim one on the joystick. Still can't find a kill to save his life now. And another one ripped through by Sexy Kate through the smoke. Karzeka going for a vault outside. Plenty of pings coming out on the walls, but he's wildly detected. Still able to find one though, but he's left alone now as his teammate Shockwave will fall. Ness through the window as soon as it erupts. And that is Liquid running away again, taking a commanding lead after the first half. 5-1 on Coastline. The tactical timeout for Team Empire, seemingly unsuccessful at gathering themselves.
Yeah, this is going to be where they really need to shift that momentum. We saw how the 5-1 situation went for Noah Rengo in that last match. It pretty much turned from there into a 7-1 fairly quickly. Liquid, of course, picking this map does mean if they win it, it's not as big a deal, but as you saw with that stat, this is an undefeated map for Empire. So to lose it here on the big stage is all the more important, as opposed to just losing it in, say, a single Pro League match. So they're going to have to do something pretty significant on these attacks, as they're not running with the glass strategy unless they go for it in a 6th pick here. They are still bringing the smokes. Nope, they're not going to be doing that. So they're going to have to execute a slightly different way. This is going to be Bar again to start with, though. It seems like we're seeing a bit of a theme here. I do wonder if Hookah will be the secondary site for Liquid, although I imagine it will. Interesting that they started downstairs rather than up on their defense. And a Rook coming out for the first time here. Should be interesting. And what I'm surprised we didn't see from Empire, which is a combination of an Echo and Maestro.
I'll bring it up once again, just because it is quite interesting that a lot of these rounds have come down to 1v1s. That's 4 out of 6 now, as that last round was a 1v3 at the end. But it's always Empire trying to pull themselves back out of an extreme man deficit, or just simply a 1vx.
Yeah, most of the initial kills are coming from Liquid.
Yeah, it's a situation where they start in a 1v3 or a 1v2 and they bring it down to a 1v1, that's how the round ends, but they're usually in a much more compromised position early on, and someone has to make a spectacular individual play to try and claw it back, and there just hasn't been that extra little step on the clutch factor for Empire to start things off on Coastline, and it seems like it's getting away from them.
Well, at least Empire now able to play their preferred operators on this map. We'll see if that makes a difference, though, because they were not able to do so on defense, and that might have been a big thing that hampered them, as we mentioned how off the joystick wasn't able to make the rotations he needed. But either way, it is kind of down to the wire to do so. They needed to pull back at least one more round there to have a decent ability to, or a decent breathing room rather, because now they're 1 point away from match point. And once you're at match point, the pressure can get to a lot of teams because you cannot afford to lose any more rounds. So right now, that's all the breathing room they have, is they can lose 1 round on their attack, and that's it before they're out on this map. And then go to the next map. Joystick looking to see if he can at least get some leeway in. Does, I believe, at least spot him before he loses the drone, but they're gonna know he's coming. See if Shockwave can do any better here in getting his drone in without losing it. And nope, they're losing a lot of initial drones here just to get this intel.
Well, Scyther spotted out one of Zig's Yokai drones. Pre-fires from Karzeka, as I guess not enough intel towards the main lobby and CCTV hallways. Terrified of a flank coming through, but that'll be one Yokai dispatched of by Scyther as they push in for office. So, a little alteration to the way that Liquid were pushing this, but Paula still has these kill holes from above, and he's honestly waiting for anyone from Empire to try and push into the blue bar to rip them up from above. Rain terror down from through the floorboards, and it looks like Empire are falling into this. They have a 3-stack inside of office currently. Diffuser is upstairs with Shepard currently, and he'll make his way back down on the Dokkaebi, and it seems like it's going to come down to those final 30 seconds again with 5v5.
Yeah, a lot of them are pushing from different angles as opposed to the way that we saw Liquid try and pushing from the doorway with smokes, but Pala already taken down Karzeka. It is going to be a bit of a, I'd say, delay here because they need to take top floor control. His ability to hold this here means, as you said, if they come in and take the bar like they're trying to from the bottom floor, it's just going to be death from above, just a rain of bullets to that point. They don't have enough smokes to be able to do a huge amount of coverage. They need to win this fight here against Pala.
Flashbang coming out from Joystick as he tries to push through and find some semblance of success in this game. More flashbangs ringing through, and Paulo will avoid it narrowly, and in behind the couches will shut down Joystick. 2-man advantage, now returning to his kill holes as the smoke grenades come out, and an attempted plant coming out from Shepard. Watching the kill holes, Shockwave will take down Zig, but rushing through the smoke, we ripped up by the all. The diffuser is down, Shockwave is down, it's all up to Scyther in a 1v4, once again choking on the asphyxiating gas and rushing straight over. Sexy K shuts it down with the shotgun. It's match point on map number 1 for Liquid, dominating control on Coastline.
Something tells me Liquid just feel a bit more warmed up than Empire. This is like what we saw happen to Fnatic in terms of them just having kind of a slow start, seeming to struggle a lot. And I gotta imagine Empire are gonna need to kind of reset themselves between maps no matter how this goes. Even if they bring this back and win it, just the mentality reset that we've heard G2 talk about is something hugely needed here for Empire. You see just the frustration, the kind of muted frustration on their faces where they're just thinking about, oh God, guys, what can we do to bring this back? We can't afford to lose any more rounds. Paolo there just being able to stay up there. And unfortunately, we've seen so many times players trying to rush in to hit that quarter, being caught off guard from someone behind the couch. He needed to follow up a drone much sooner on that. Losing those initial drones, I think, cost them quite a bit as well. And just the way they were trying to attack it from the bottom floor primarily was not going to work out in the end. I mean, I appreciate them trying to go from the blue bar side, but it just seemed completely read into by Liquid, especially with how long it took to execute on that, whereas we saw Liquid set up for a while first, and then just go smokes and then go heavy. Don't have the same thing from Empire. They're just hoping to win a lot of those frags. It's not happening. They need to do some serious work. They even had the advantage of taking down one of the Yokais early last round, still couldn't turn that into anything. So they are gonna bring out the glass. Joystick is gonna give that a go.
One of the biggest things here is just the lack of accumulation of intel for Team Empire. We talked about their simplicity in their op choices and their simplicity in their strategy, and there just doesn't seem to be enough information about where everyone on Liquid is playing. The fact that Paulo was upstairs for the entirety of the round looking through the same kill hole for almost 2 minutes and garnered 2 kills off that and a 3rd on a rush. Empire really need to be collecting a lot more information and acting on it better. They need to be revising what they're doing mid-round because they stack up for one push, they don't gather the intel necessary to properly push through and assess the situation, and then they commit at the last second and Liquid just tears them up, and a nice attempt there from Joystick, who swapped over from the Ash to the Glads, but Sexy Cake rocking a Clash, the first one we've seen in this matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely something that was smart. Something we've seen actually when Clash was first available, something Liquid did, specifically Sexy Cake, to much effect. He would stay in VIP as well as rotating to the door, doing a lot from there as well as playing from that window. His ability to deny any kind of ground to be gained from the windows, including on this VIP one that you can vault over, is a big difference maker. And they're not bringing any kind of Capital or anything to be able to counter it. Sophia also was banned, something that they banned against Empire. This is really working out in their favor. So smart on Liquid to ban 2 operators that they would need here potentially, and them not being prepared to bring that Capital because it's not something they just bring on this attack. Just really well stratted and read by Liquid. So kudos to Silence, who I imagine was part of that as well. This has definitely been Liquid really working out. Although Sensei, I guess, as well could be part of that too, now I think about it.
Well, an Evil Eye spotted out in the depths of VIP in the back right corner, and it seems like everyone's just trying to figure out how to deal with it. It's going to be Karzeka who's going to have to, unless Scyther wants to utilize one of his frag grenades for no reason. They're just judging if VIP is even safe to jump into. It's the barbed wire, you never know about kill holes playing down below, but Scyther did a good job of clearing out Kitchen solo as the self-droned Buck as he maneuvers around the map, but they just spot Ness going for a flank down theater stairs and one going luggage, 2 going luggage now. It looks like it's Paula and Ness both rotating, one faulting courtyard, and Karzeka will just miss the shot on a falling bandit.
Well, they do know that some of them are going to have to rotate upstairs. They can take advantage of that. And a nice early kill there from Joystick, at least trying to make up a little bit of ground from the previous rounds. Unfortunately, just misses the Yokai drone. And he's going to have to try and catch that up, or it's going to be a problem for him. Could even just stun him to slow him down. Joystick moving towards site, already having to use one of those smokes. And the Clash is down. Now's the time to try and get that kill, because otherwise that's going to make it much harder to plant.
Oh my, turning back now is Ness. He's still standing. Scyther will finally fall due to a headshot, and Karzeka will take down Zig. Sexy Cake, though, has been revived as that shield Lancing in through the smoke, but not a lot of bullets hitting. It's actually Gohan going down, so I think it's a 4v2 right now for Empire, and the plant will be completed now as it's a post plant in a good spot. A revive facilitated onto Gohan, but Ness will fall in turn. So once again, we stand at a 4v2 in the favor of Empire. The first real success on a round, but there goes Joystick down through the wall by the ult as Gohan continues to sneak his way up through VIP hallway and challenge towards the big window. He's got one out on his balcony. He'll finish his kill onto Joystick, but Shockwave will immediately trade out Sexy Cake. The Clash on a rush with the full auto SMG9. Now holding the balcony, Gohan will rush straight into his death. Karzeka will stave off elimination, at least on map number 1 for Team Empire, and they will continue to fight on.
Well, Liquid finally losing another round is going to use that timeout to decide, okay, we didn't prepare for Joystick on that glass. We weren't exactly anticipating the moves like that. They were rotating off very quickly because, okay, they figured, well, we're getting a lot of pressure from this glass top floor, so we're going to rotate down. And then they rotated down into Joystick, completely punished them for that. Sex Kick getting down early, I think, really put a crimp in their plans as well. Yes, they didn't finish him off till the very end, but the fact that he was able to, or the fact that he was down early meant they could start pressuring a lot more without him just completely denying their map control in doing so. Even the fact that they didn't finish off Joystick or didn't know that they, right away, that they downed him, as opposed to just coming around the corner super carefully like they were, being on a 1 speed already, completely slowed down Maestro's ability to try and clutch that out. But also them getting that plant down when they did, I think made a big difference with that man advantage. I think at this point, they're just looking for any opportunity to close this out. This is the right time to call the timeout. It's just, okay, we only lost 1 round. All we have to do is win 1. Let's really think about, okay, everything we can do to just shut them down. And you see that there, Zig actually maybe getting too hard of a hand slap. Hopefully that does impact his play. His poor mouse hand. Joystick potentially gonna play on that glass. It looks like he's still unconfirmed on it. There we go. Ness going to be the one to use the 6th pick over to that dock. So they will not have the cameras, but they may have a bulletproof camera. And we'll see in just a second. And they do. So they will at least have 1 camera from him. So I suppose 1 bulletproof see-through smoke, 1 versus the other 3. That's not too bad of a trade-off. Plus his ability to play on that ACOG is going to be important.
Bomb located by attackers.
And the new jam as well going to deny some of those drones getting in. On what is the first kitchen defense we're seeing here. Should be interesting to see how impactful that is. As Glaz does get quite a few openings into this through delivery as well as through the window, so they've got to be very careful not to fall prey to that, because even coming around from the bar side, they're going to have to maintain control of this Sunshine bar if they want to be able to make it through this defense.
5 seconds to go.
See a lot of rotations and manipulation of the Sunrise bar and blue bar walls by Gohan, trying to facilitate some more flanks that Liquid could possibly pull off if they can make it all the way through CCTV without being caught off by Team Empire with any flank holds. And it seems like main entrance is the most common spawn of the day, as Empire will 4-stack over here and move their way in towards service entrance as Karzeka ducks away from the wooden barricade, and Scyther trying to establish where Zig's Echo drones are once again. It's a constant battle back and forth between the two as he can find the yokais and he can keep them hidden in indestructible places the longest.
Yeah, having the Echo here is something that Liquid just didn't seem to want to do, and I think it's something that will benefit Empire quite a bit on this attack as well, because once you can get in with those smokes, it is something you can go for a plant fairly quickly if you know where those yokais are, because if you don't, you're pretty much a strong chance you're not going to make it through that plant alive, especially with C4s in play along with smokes. So they're definitely going to have to get some good intel and save those phone calls as well for a good time. And unfortunately, Scyther, ironically enough, getting hit by the drone he's trying to find.
He's able to take that out, and I wouldn't want to be Paula right about now. He's being collapsed on by about 4 attacking members of Team Empire. Looks like Joystick is the only man not in on this hunt of Paula upstairs, playing the top of theater stairs. He initially had positioned himself inside a theater, but lots of pings and information coming out from that yokai, and now he's at the top of the theater stairs. He vaults over successfully and will make it down to the main lobby. Shepard will give chase, but understands that A, he doesn't have a fully automatic weapon that's relatively controllable, and B, he carries diffuser, so he'll think twice about it, give the call to the rest of the team, relay the information, and try and clamp down on them with a double push.
Yeah, Shockwave trying to use that grenade to follow it up, unfortunately just didn't find it. And Paul at least forced off top floor, though. That is something they struggled with the previous round, so that will at least be a boon for them, but Scyther taking a bit of damage on this. He's gonna have to be careful to make sure he can spot out any leftover cabinetry. 6 kick down, but I don't know if they know it. Breaching charge is gonna open up the floor and give them the potential to finish him off. At least for now, though, him being down, the Echo being down is a big play, but Sexy Cake getting picked back up is almost like a trade.
Scyther will eliminate Zig, and once again, the Echo will be the first to fall on the side of Liquid, not unlike Team Empire. Smoke falling first multiple times over. And Karzeka, again, will continue to rip up the floor, and it sounded like a Nitro Cell detonated just errant on the feet of Karzeka. It'll still evacuate the floorboards and provide another peak hole for Karzeka to utilize as he continues to push everyone out, but there goes Paul on that flank. They were unable to clamp down on him upstairs. Shepard just going for the plant inside of service. Only the cover is Joystick right now through the smoke, sitting a lot of metal bars, but Karzeka will take down Sexy Cake after easy revive. Shepard evacuates out of the kitchen service door, but what a shot by Paul as he goes for the run out. Lambo, Scyther will immediately trade out Nesk on a flank. Shot to the floor from Gohan, it'll clean it with a shotgun. Down to a 2v2, this could be the clutch to win the entire map for Liquid. Karzeka and Shepard coalesce outside the service door, trying to get up on this planter. Shepard is in the MK14 at long range, and they got to be wary of a long arm. And it looks like they are trying to stick the long arm right now. Paul will take down Karzeka as he's running outside, but he doesn't know that Gohan is defusing. No, Gohan pulls off! And Shepard at the dying seconds.
If he had not pulled off that diffuser there, I think he might have pulled off the round.
He had it.
Just
he 100% had it.
Yeah, the timing there. I gotta say though, a little bit of misplay and miscoordination there between Joystick and the planter in terms of him running right in his line of sight, right as someone was running cross as well. Could have been a free kill for Joystick, might have turned man count advantage in their sight, and also might have not set him up to get picked off because he would have been maybe paying a little more attention, but either way, it cost them a lot to get that diffuser planted. It was absolutely worth it. Nice jump out there by Pala. Just, yeah, their inability to take Pala out seems to be something that's really a problem for Empire. They need to be, just him and Nesk seem to be the ones that are able to get away very often. Again, a situation where they didn't finish off Sexy Cake, where they get him down and cannot finish the job. That's twice now. But either way, they still win the round. This is the comeback we were talking about when they switch sides. But either way, this still feels like they're just right on the edge of losing this map every time. It never feels like a dominant comeback or a sweep. I gotta say, I'm not really confident that Empire can bring this back enough to get to overtime because we are at 6 points for Liquid. Liquid either win or go to overtime. Empire have to go to overtime to win.
Still need another 3 consecutive after you've got 2 back-to-back rounds. And it's a good start to get some momentum back on your side if you're Empire. And honestly, even if they don't end up winning the map, which is highly unlikely at this point, as you said, they've at least got things back in their corner. They're picking up momentum heading into the second map. All it takes is one mistake for Team Empire to lose this map. You're not really too upset about that after the run you can go on here and acquire some rounds, should you end up losing it.
Also, the stressful aspect of that is even if you make it to overtime, the coin flip might not be on your side, might give Liquid the 2 defenses, which would put them in an advantage, although we do often see sometimes that switch when it comes to the overtime. Either way, with how dominant defense has been, or I'm sorry, attack has been, so it would be the 2 attacks, then it'd just be a case where it could really hurt even in overtime. You don't get the favorable side. And then Empire would just have to really reset and move on to the next map at that point. We'll see them, ooh, a nice early kill on the Gohan. That's the mute down. That is a C4 off the board, not to mention the SMG-11. That is going to be a good early pick there. Fortunately, it's not Paula who's been more of a pain for them, but still going to help things out big time. Although it does leave Karzeka wondering if someone's going to try and repeat it, and they're not.
Well, that also will leave a cell phone exposed outside for Shepard, should he want to go and hack the cameras of Team Liquid's defense. And the good thing is that you still have a Nitro Cell in the back pocket of Zig, who has swapped off the Echo role, seeing basically no success with it. So an alteration here for Liquid to try and lock things out. And Empire again get off to a good start, but Paula, reactionary, takes down Shockwave as his phone rings out in his back pocket. He's got Nesk in support downstairs in office right below him. And again, Paula continues to be the thorn in the side for Team Empire that they cannot remove.
Well, at least Joystick's still alive in this case. Even if he doesn't do any damage, just the threat of the glass is a huge impact on attack. We saw how well it worked for Liquid. Joystick, though, just not landing enough shots in this match to really be as big of a threat as we saw from them. But either way, still important here. But it is unfortunate to see Shockwave go down again. Seems to be what Operator is playing seems to, affect things a bit more than that. Buck just not working out great for him. Scyther, though, gonna have to do what he can to at least spot pulse if possible, on that heartbeat sensor. And that is going to be Zig playing that. This is coming down to some potential 1v1 soon with only a minute left.
Karzeka again, still trying to rip the floorboards above and dissuade any anchors from playing in those favorable positions. Inside of kitchen, behind kegs at the rotate. Joystick throwing out a smoke just to go for the roam clear, and Paula will evacuate his position in behind the bar and playing with fire right there as Paul as he makes it down the Cool Vibe stairs, just narrowly, and Zig on 1 HP inside a bathroom. Nesk avoiding a hailstorm of bullets descending from above, and Liquid getting away with their lives at their shoestrings right now.
This is not looking good because Empire are spending all their time upstairs. Yeah, they've got upstairs control, but they're not necessarily near a plant yet. Joystick needs to get up some position. You see him rotating with the pistol, trying to get over to position in time as Shepard's going for that plant, but it's predictable. Karzeka needs to implement so much pressure now.
Frag grenades coming into the common, rotates, and Joystick is pushed all the way into bathroom. Karzeka will clean one with the nade as well into Sexy Cakes, and now it's down to a 2v4. Nesk and Paula working out as Shepard is completing the defuse, but Paula will grab one in the process. That's the glass down once again. 2v3. Paula and Nesk now in the 2v3 to try and win the map in the same post-plant situation. Nesk, instead of going for the run out, will most likely stand, and if he has a stim pistol, he has 3 stim pistols remaining. He could try and juice up Paula, but it looks like they're just going to stand and fight. Karzeka will jump in the kitchen window in behind. This could be the perfect flank as no one on Liquid is even remotely aware of this, and Karzeka will gun down one. Twisting in the wind with nowhere to go is Nesk, and Empire continue the run back, 6-4.
Well, this is exactly the mirror of what we saw. On the defensive side, Empire won their first round in this case. It looks like Liquid winning their first one is just kind of flip the curse, really. Also, I got word that we aren't using the coin flip system essentially for the overtime. If it does go to overtime, they will actually get to choose. I believe, if I understood correctly, Empire would be on defense in that case, which has not been the favorable side. But either way, this is on Empire to bring it to that point. They've got to win 2 more rounds just to get to overtime. And then, of course, as you mentioned earlier, they've got to win 2 rounds on that. So essentially, they need to win 4 more rounds to take this home, even if those 4 aren't completely in a row. At least the first 2 need to be. And then the last 2 after that need to be in the overtime. We will see the glass coming out again, but it looks like Shockwave realizing, yeah, his operator picks do matter. Maybe gonna pick something else. Nope, he's gonna 6-pick right over to Buck. But the Maestro coming out here from Gohan, and that is going to leave Paula on the Rook again for this bar defense. Now this is what worked for them last time. Paula sitting upstairs for this defense. They needed 2-man pinch him. Sending up Joystick alone or someone else to try and fight him first did not work out. Paula has been a pain every single round. For Empire, kill him early, and you will get an advantage here. Maybe down Sexy Cake and this time finish him early, and you will have an advantage. That is something they have not been able to do either time yet. However, that being said, they have managed to win these rounds. So it is entirely possible they bring it back. Some of that is down to just good plants coming out from Shepard. He seems to be able to consistently use his own smokes without having necessarily the 4, because Joystick's using his somewhat separately. So that is not going to help Gohan's play here.
No, takes a couple pellets point blank to the chest. And if you're Liquid here, you don't really want to be losing composure, but we've seen throughout the group stage that Gohan is quite an animated player, quite the emotional and emotionally invested man into this game.
Well, when you're on match point, you really need to shake that off quickly. Yeah, 7 out of 10 plants is very impressive. And again, that is down to the amount of smoke being played, especially when it's Glass and WWE 4 smokes every time. This map is just, it's a smoke city, and it makes sense when you've got a bomb site like Hookah that smoke would be important.
Yeah, it feels like early 2018 all over again with the attacking side dominance on Coastline, which is quite atypical to what we're used to these days. A frag grenade coming out from Shockwave, and it'll detonate far away from Gohan as he rips down the Cool Vibe stairs to safety, as that initial droning will push him off his intended position. You see all these rotates, the reinforcements, the utility investment into Hookah here for Liquid as they try and lock things out. And last time, they had a healthy amount of C4s. They still have 1 on the side of Nesk. This time, you're cracking open the Maestro and the Echo with a Valkyrie. You're acquiring the most amount of information you can possibly have on the defensive side. One
thing I've noticed from the attackers of Empire is they tend to ping with their drones a lot. The big problem I have with that is they're giving away that they've droned someone to the defenders, and they're rotating off those positions quickly. Joystick, do not fall for the couch play again if he's back there. He's going to try and use a smoke early to get this kill, but unfortunately for him, he's not there. And that's really going to continue to be a problem here, as Paula does still continue to be that pain, and Joystick isn't ready to pick him out just yet. There we go, through the couch.
a missed assignment there by Joystick, and he'll get downed upstairs with no one really close to facilitate a revive and save him. I imagine that was by Nesk on the flank over by VIP, and Scyther is stacking. He's got a nice pixel angle in towards the bar, and you can see a couple attackers for Team Empire now relocating. As Karzeka wants to save his duo, and the pre-fires on the default camera will intimidate Gohan from rotating back out through theater doorway. Shepard has now ascended into Aquarium to try and rescue Joystick, but he's bleeding out. Nesk will clean it. There goes the Glaz once again, so leave it in a 3v4 for Empire. Gohan low on HP, but Empire with 45 seconds remaining, extremely split up, not a lot of cohesion, extreme separation for all of the remaining attackers on Empire, and they still have to facilitate site execute.
Yeah, and this is the big problem with the Glaz down. They don't have a threat anymore in terms of peeking into the smoke, because it is the Dokkan that's going to be planting for that smoke. In doing so, that's the only other DMR going to be down at the moment, so they're going to have to try and cover it as best they can when he tries to go for that. He's got one phone call left, and Karzeka does manage to put man advantage in their favor. They need to finish off Gohan, though, before they can securely get this play down, but 13 seconds to do it.
Shepard's still apprehensive about moving into blue bar. Karzeka holding the flank, and Scyther's still above, and he'll be in contention with Nesk, it looks like, top floor. Both rushing in. Sexy King will rip through one. A trade. 2 kills for Empire now. Karzeka is putting down the plant, and Nesk downstairs rushing through. There's no cover. Scyther is nowhere to be seen. Turning the corner. Nesk will shut it down. And Liquid in the dying seconds again will close out Coastline.
Just a few more seconds there, maybe even just one more second. Would have been enough to get that down. He likely would have watched the door immediately. Still might have lost that fight, but either way, it is a down to unfortunate timing. Running directly in there for that plant. Like I said, lack of coverage, lack of threat from the Glaz ultimately cost them Joystick losing that fight. Unfortunately, to Nesk early on, just their inability to clear out a lot of the particular thorny players on the roams. I gotta say, a much more effective roam play overall in terms of being impactful coming out from Liquid helped win them the map. Empire were just squeaking by in a lot of those plays, much more so than Liquid, but this was Liquid's map pick, and they showed why. Finally, Empire fall on Coastline.
Scyther just a little too far away in those dying seconds.
Well, we'll see how this goes for them, though. On their map pick is going to be Consulate. That should be an interesting one for them, just because they are very strong on that map as well. But I gotta say, Liquid are looking much better today than they had looked during group stages.
5 seconds to go.
Running through replays of that map on Coastline, and in the dying seconds there, it was Nesk able to stop the defuse. And like you said, milliseconds away from getting the plant down, then Scyther has a chance to rotate back. Nesk has to play for the kill. It's an entirely different ballgame at that point. But the immediate onslaught from Liquid, going up 5-1 in the first half, extending it to a 6-2 later on, that's a dangerous proposition for Empire to allow things to get out of hand that quickly and that severely on Coastline as well. And like I said, it felt like early 2018 there with the attacking side dominance on Coastline. That is completely contrary to what we've been seeing lately.
Well, it does make me worry for this next map in the sense that I feel like a lot of the winning coming out from Liquid wasn't just on winning gunfights, it was also winning on strategy. The bans coming out, the way they played against the way Empire tend to do, absolutely worked for them. And that's the thing, we talked about the predictability of Empire, just the sheer amount of counter strategy that went into this from the coaches and analysts on that team. I gotta imagine they're gonna be going to Consulate with the same. However, they may or may not have predicted Consulate to be the pick because of the ban pick. It's a little bit different sometimes to corner your opponent into the same map picks because you don't get to ban as many times first. But I assume they prepared for Empire to be playing like this. So Empire need to shake things up just a little bit. They need to start using things like 6 picks. They need to do things slightly differently. They need to stop repeating bomb sites and losing them consistently. They're just gonna have to throw Liquid for a curve. It's not gonna work if they just keep doing what their VODs show they do, and Liquid just picking that apart.
Yeah, it's an issue, and that's kind of been the book on Empire. And for some reason, no one's been able to really convert on that inside of Pro League for the first half of Season 9 anyway in EU. They've been on a run. They're currently undefeated after 7 play days, playing every team in their region once already. But like you said, that's map 1 in the books. Map 2, Consulate, another one of those maps where roaming potential is high. All 3 main bomb sites are extremely viable, as we saw on Coastline, the main 3 there, flipping back and forth in a constant rotation.
And you even have a 4th one you could just throw in just for fun on Consulate.
Just for fun, yeah. If you want to go Teller's Archives, you can. We've seen it done multiple times, especially in EU.
Yeah,
EU seems to favor a little bit over.
It's certainly, yeah, an EU kind of one, and it could be that could be the curveball that Empire could have. It's just not likely given the way they continue to play, but as it was mentioned earlier, they're just an execute-heavy team, and the executes were decent. I gotta imagine, I gotta say their plants were fairly consistent as well. They even almost got the plant down that last round. They showed that Shepard can stick those plants consistently, but he needs coverage. He needs coverage to get them down. He needs coverage to get in there with the smokes. And Liquid just continue to deny that as much as they possibly can, especially with the roamers like Paula. They need to start shutting him down. They need to start shutting Nest down. If they could shut those 2 down, I really could see Empire taking this back and then possibly doing okay on Border, but Border is a stronger map overall, I think, for Liquid. So Empire not in the greatest position right now.
No, we were actually talking in the green room right before the last game ended, the Norenga Fnatic game. And we're talking about how Coastline was probably going to be an Empire-favored map, considering their style of play and the European favoritism for Coastline as a map as a whole. You get to scrim it more, you get to play it more.
Them being undefeated on it after 11 times.
Exactly. You know, that's their first loss on it in a year.
Yeah, and that's the problem is sometimes you get a little complacent in that as well. You're repeating the same strats. You're not changing up too much. That yeah, you're refining it. Refining it's good. You're continuing to build on what you do well. But when a team just throws you for a loop with an operator ban like that, all of a sudden that all goes out the window because they don't have a lot of strat variations. So what do then? They just have to start improvising at that point. And improvising, not their strong suit. So I can understand why Liquid took that. And we were expecting the last match to not be the 2-0 and this to be the 2-0, but we thought it was more likely to be from the other side just in terms of the strength that Empire have shown and the problems that Liquid had during group stages. But I feel like we're seeing a very different Liquid now. And that extra day off seeming to work out for them.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is Liquid looked like they were scraping their way through their group. And granted, they were still predicted heavily to make it out of the group as the #2 seed, with G2 being the #1 seed out of Group C. But man, did they have to fight for it. 2 best-of-3s that go the distance, including overtime on multiple maps against Mocket. One of them going against them. It was a 2-1 win the first time around for Mocket, and then the do-or-die game, they barely squeak it out.
I almost feel like those were just a coin flip to decide who won at that point, just based off the fact that both teams barely eked out a win in the end, and it could have been either team. So, I mean, it could have just as easily been Mocket here. I mean, I don't mean that to disparage Liquid, but just with how close those matches were.
That was actually kind of the story through a lot of the group stage games. It was a lot of 2-1s, honestly, and that's well, contrary to what we've been seeing lately. It's more the final stage that give you the 2-1s, and then. I
just hope this doesn't end up like Paris again, where we had a lot of 2-1s during group stages, and then it descended down into a lot of 2-0s after that. Although in this case, we did see a lot more 2-0s, I think, more so on the first and second day as opposed to the third day. But either way, I would definitely hate to see it go down that way again. It seems like once the team gets into the final stages, they seem to either bring it all or nothing. And we already saw 1-2-0 to start the day.
Well, it looks like once again on Consulate, it'll be Team Empire starting on defense and Team Liquid starting on attack. The way that Liquid's attacks were dominating on Coastline, and granted, as the stat was shown, a lot of those rounds came down to 1v1s, but it was dominated control moments prior for Liquid that was really the telling story. The number of 4v1s they had, 3v1s they had, that then came down to a 1v1. It was always Empire on their back foot, trying to claw their way out, instead of it truly coming down to a 1v1 after a flurry of trades. It was someone in a comeback scenario trying just with everything they have to clutch up.
Well, that's the thing, too, is being a more passionate region like LATAM are, you really need to get them on the back foot. You need to get them tilted and emotionally invested in a way that's negative to their ability to snowball things. The fact that they had such an early advantage, I think, gave them the kind of stability to get through some of those tougher rounds they were losing. And like I said, Empire were barely winning those because Liquid weren't really relenting on anything. You need to not give them those early wins because that seemed to really help Liquid continue to just weather a lot of problematic plays partway through or at the end of rounds. And in that case, they did just barely manage to win that last one. We could have easily gone to another round had he been able to finish that plant and stand up, perhaps. I mean, it could have either, been him killing or getting killed either way, I suppose. But it's down to these very, very close ones. Even when the plant isn't finished, it's very close to being finished. And we also saw a very close, almost counter defuse from the defenders as well of Liquid. So I don't know if we'll see as plant heavy of a game on Consulate, but I kind of hope we do. It is more exciting, I suppose, to see a lot of objective play versus just a lot of frag heaviness coming out. And we have seen that both teams are very good on the execute. It's just a matter of whether or not they depend on those smokes. I don't know if we'll see a Jaeger ban on this map, but that would certainly be interesting. If we don't, might not see a smoke heavy a play on this map.
See Zig feeling pretty good, and it turns out I was completely incorrect. It'll be Team Empire starting on the attack.
Oh, they've switched that around.
They swapped that around in the lobby.
They're just messing with us at this point.
Yep. Well, it'll be the story of will this break, and will this, honestly, pretty staggering defeat on Coastline. I know they were trying to claw it back there. We're Empire, but they, honestly, like I said, dropping that 5-1 early on, there was a giant mountain to try and overcome, and they came just short. It's either going to be a wake-up call for them, and this break in between maps could be breathing new life into them, or this will be back-to-back 2-0s in the quarterfinals of the 6th Invitational, which I don't think anyone wants. I think everyone wants these matches to go 3 maps. We want to see the best competition go the longest possible amount of time.
Especially for those who bought tickets, right? If your butts are in the seats, you want it to be for a good reason, as long as possible, to stretch as much as you can out of all these days. Although, could be another day when we end up here till 11 o'clock midnight. It's definitely been long days in the group stages, but that's to be expected. This is it would be sad to see this go 2-0, regardless of who you want to win.
Well, the last time that Team Empire were down 1-0 in a best-of-3 series was at DreamHack Winter against G2, and they ultimately lost 2-0. They were not able to stretch it to a 3rd map. Very different team here, Liquid in comparison to G2, especially with their most recent form of play. Liquid getting very animated, getting very frustrated with each other. We've seen that through the face cams plenty of times in the benches during group stage. I was actually very surprised that Gohan didn't lose his marbles when he got shot in the prep phase. But there we go, that's enough stalling. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 2 between Empire and Liquid is underway on Consulate. It is do or die for the Russian squad.
Well, they didn't look too happy. You definitely saw a bit more smiles on Liquid's face, which is, I suppose, to be accepted when they've managed to take the lead here. And that's what Empire need, is to get a significant early lead, and hopefully these operator bans work out for them. Well, there's the IQ ban from Liquid. So they're going to make sure that if they are going to have the Echo unbanned, they'll get to play it as much as possible. Or if it's Valkyrie to be played as well, that they can use those outside cams. So the defender ban is definitely going to matter in terms of that operator being banned now. Ying being banned again as well, this time from Empire, just like last time. So will they go with the same defender band of Mira? Hard to say.
Well, with the amount of aggressive and honestly successful Ying play we've seen through the group stages, I'm not really surprised that Empire do not want to deal with that by any stretch of the imagination. They'll also take out the Mira, same as Coastline, so it's really Liquid right now swapping.
Oh boy,
it's kind of.
Well, this certainly looks about as familiar as you can get, with the exact same bands outside of the Zofia swapped out for the IQ. But now the Echo play going to be that much more effective. That is going to stunt Empire's attacks even more, as well as their defenses now. So Liquid continuing with the counterplay to Empire. Empire's just going to have to bring it on the frag game at this point.
Well, it's Empire starting on the attack compared to Coastline, where they started out in the defense. So Liquid playing for the late game here.
Well, I got to say, though, their ability to be able to play those cams outside potentially with Nest play on that Valkyrie, if that leads to a lot of runouts here, they could really punish any chance at momentum here from Empire.
Interesting that Gohan will swap off the Pulse and onto a Rook, picking up a second ACOG, and it's not the dock, so you don't take the bulletproof camera. Also, stark contrast to what we were seeing on Coastline. No smoke grenades elected to be taken by anyone on Team Empire. It was the smoke plant fest on Coastline, and it seems we're getting away with that, even with the Jaeger being banned out. We still have 2 frag grenades with Shockwave Sledge. And this composition right here for Empire is their most popular and most commonly run composition on basically every map.
Yeah, it's definitely something they are very comfortable using So at least they've mostly got what they wanted on attack, but again, it's their defenses that are most concerning in this case. But they just need to find those yokai drones the best way they can, stop Zig from being able to use them, or at least identify where Zig's at, put pressure on him personally, maybe even kill him so that it's not as much of a concern. But even with him dead, people can still use those as teammates rather for intel. So it is something to be concerned about. We'll see though if they can manage to better utilize Joystick this time, as he just wasn't very effective outside of his glass play, and even then it was still a bit 50-50.
Yeah, Joystick and Karzeka, honestly, both being non-factors on Coastline, definitely contributed to the loss for Empire on Coast. Just a situation where Joystick couldn't get any traction. He's not on his favorite operator, and that clearly has been an issue for him, especially at lands. G2 target banned the Ash on him back-to-back games at that DreamHack winner game that I referenced, and he did not do all that hot in that game.
Well, we'll see what they're going to do for their attack in terms of which way they're going to come from, but so far it looks like a pretty heavy admin push from there, and that is actually going to force a lot of members of Liquid downstairs through yellow stairs, knowing that they don't have to worry about the yellow stairs control because the admin side attack. They can actually rotate freely to come around from behind, even potentially on those Visa stairs if they get a chance to later on in the round, as they have now moved downstairs. But Joystick going to bring his drone down to see if that rotation is coming out from the team, and so far has not spotted anyone. So this is really slowing them down here, as they're mostly just rotating around to get into positions.
Well, Shockwave will start things off onto Nest. That's one of the Nitro cells from below, dispatched up. And here comes a run out from Paula. Out the piano windows. There's no one on the B windows. He might make it to Yellow Stairs door and in time. There's no Claymore either. He's got to make sure there's no one in the basement, and he's free and clear. Paula with the escape magic all the way back. Go on, will also take down Joystick, so again, a bad start. Even on his favorite operator trying to push out a copy Hall, will be unsuccessful for the Russian superstar.
Man, Paula down to about 50% HP, but man, he is just being such a pain for them. Gotta imagine if there's any cameras outside, they're still probably outside, and that might have assisted him as well in that jump out. Not much you can do on a rappel though. If you hear the rappel sound, perfect trigger to do so, and this is where they just can try and punish and punish and punish with the one-man advantage they have, especially if Sexy K can stay alive a bit longer or stay upright longer to be able to keep these smokes pressured on there, because if they start to try and plant into projector, it's not going to work so great, and that is generally what you're going to be pushing for when you take an admin take.
Like Empire unaware of this spiral stair control, but good repel there from Paula as he'll drop Karzeka down to 1 HP. Toxic Babe coming out from Sexy Cake towards the A balcony windows, and Flashbangs come soaring in through the one breach hole at the top of the window, but looking away and completely avoiding the flash is Sexy Cake. He evades all three and still playing Pat in behind his deployable shield. Shepard is vaulted in behind the table. The bullets come out, but finally Shepard will connect Karzeka with another one on a go-on. Suddenly down to a 3v2, but Karzeka on 1 HP. Now it's Scyther left alone inside a connector, will take down the Echo of Zig, but he runs out of time, and Liquid again start things off hot on map number 2, up 1-0.
Definitely not a great start. I mean, a good early pick onto Nest, but once that was immediately traded back, they pretty much lost all the momentum they had at that point, had to struggle to be able to pressure any kind of map control. And like I said, once they were able to rotate around downstairs because they didn't take any kind of yellow stairs control, absolutely punished them. Had they had yellow stairs, for example, then they would have been able to stop that rotate back from Paulo that he tried to make after jumping out the window. So yeah, the admin take not working out super great for them, but we'll see potentially a different take as they're going to be going down to Garage for the next defense. And pretty much same lineup, it looks like, for the most part, other than they're getting double hard breachers now. Coming out for the attack.
Locate and defuse bombs.
So downstairs Liquid will go after being successful upstairs inside of the meeting room and CEO, and a little bit of an alteration here. Paula swapping off the bandit role, so Gohan will pick up that mantle, and Paula will swap to the Legion, an operator that hasn't really been seen a whole lot in this series. And I'm surprised by that, considering the amount of Glaz pushing through smoke we've seen. That's usually a big deterrent to the smoke push Glaz.
Yeah, not to mention that the nerf to Legion has not happened yet, so definitely a case where he's still continuing to be effective, so would be a good fit to push the fact up there. Kind of what you mentioned earlier about Empire not dropping maps. So. Unfortunate for them that this is the place that they are going to finally start to be weakening a little. Of course, the way things are trending right now, this might be 2 instead of 1 maps that they drop.
Yeah, it was an incredibly solid run, honestly. near flawless run through the group stage for Empire, just soaring straight through Group B, which looked extremely stacked, but it's a disappointing efforts of Rogue, and then Immortals falling just short as well to Space Station. That's really the surprises in Group B, and Empire obviously strong contestants pushing through, especially after their run in the first half of Season 9. But as the newcomers on the block, technically, they definitely have surprised a lot of people out there.
Well, if you keep in mind, this is the only Latin American team who's managed to win one of the Pro League finals. So they definitely are a strong contender, as well as being the only Latin American team to manage to make it through the group stages. So they've got a lot to fight for here. And while it's the Empire's first go at this,
didn't go very well.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely did group stages, just not here. However, again, the momentum is what they need to worry about. They need to make sure that Liquid don't get more momentum again like they did last map, because if so, then it's going to be a big problem, because this is such a strong map for Empire that they should not be giving up any leads. Although I did think they had a good initial man advantage last round, they just weren't able to turn it into a whole lot. Some of that was due to bad droning again. They're just not doing a great job droning and actually following up those drones. We're seeing a lot of the Liquid just kind of doing unpredictable things because there's no drones there to tell them that that's happening. We saw pings come out, giving away the drones' positions to an extent, or at least forcing the defenders off their positions. I don't know, it's definitely a different way to play, and they just seem a bit more unprepared for how Latin America played, maybe thinking that they would play similar to the EU, whereas Latin America has had a lot more experience against other regions, and I think that's what we're seeing here factoring into that.
See shots rattle out against the walls. The first successful thermite charge will go off from Shepard as we approach a minute left. The frag grenade comes rolling in. We'll just brush off Gohan deeper into the bathroom stalls. He holds the angle at a crouch height, waiting for Shockwave to turn the corner, and he rips right through, and another one looking to go for a second round up against this bathroom door. It's Karzeka on the Zofia, and Shockwave from behind, or Scyther, sorry, as that Habana through the wall. Stun Cancer comes out, will disorient Gohan, but with 45 seconds, finally he'll get opened up from the side as Karzeka will split his head wide open and leaving things at a 4v4.
It was good that they got Gohan, but that burned up so much time down. At least they were able to follow it up with another kill from Karzeka now that they have that control. It is a one-man advantage, though, and 28 seconds left to make this plan happen. This is down to whether or not Shepard can continue his streak of plants, and they don't really have any utility to cover the plant.
Wow, ripping right down yellow, and Shepard will win that out. A great turn and flick as he'll now be attempting to put the plant down, bouncing up and down his joystick on the ash, and he'll down one. Paulo with two, though. He stops the defuse. Paulo with three! It's all up to Joystick now. Nesk is down, so the 1v1. The diffuser is still at white van. It's recovered by Joystick, but he has to pull out a Legion Mine. Paulo will wait it out the clock, and Liquid again! What a beautiful clutch by Paula!
I think at this point, Empire are going to have to speed things up now. That is 2 rounds they've lost in a row off the clock, not off of fragging, although it doesn't help when you start to lose all of your teammates and you're forced into a situation where a goo mine's slowing you down, and that is where Legion really kind of comes into his own. It's not just the damage, it's not just the intel, it's the ability to slow them down on those plants as well. Going to be a bit of a problem for him. We've seen some great frags, some great trades though that came out from both teams. I think both teams had a good chance at that. But just the amount of time that we saw burned by Gohan in that bathroom, I think really paid off in those last few seconds. That might have been all the time that Joystick needed to be able to get the plant down, but because they had spent time doing that, just did not work out. We'll see how the fourth bomb site, the new one, comes out. We mentioned we might see it, and we are definitely going to see it now. It's Archives Tellers coming out here from Liquid, and this should be interesting. Definitely going to be dependent on that pulse play.
Liquid continuing the trend of a hot start after Coastline, going up 5-1 in the first half on Coast, and now on Consulate. Like you said, 2 rounds coming down to the wire on time, but it's at Empire's own fault here that they are struggling to try and convert for a site execute and try and get a plant down. They're just burning way too much time on the roam clear and standing still a lot of the time. It's a big problem for them, and it's continued over from Coastline. I thought Consulate, new map, you got a break in between, you mental refresh like we talked about, and you bring a new game plan. And it's also not the Empire we've been seeing through groups, and it's not the Empire anyone's really accustomed to seeing. We're used to them taking the fight to anyone they play. I think it's honestly just the more aggressive and chaotic playstyle of the Latin American team of Liquid that is starting to really disorient Team Empire in this matchup.
And that's kind of what my point was about the drones is, in Europe, sure, when you drone people out of position and they move positions, it might be a bit more predictable how that region, how that meta changes positions from there, and you can still execute even without a man following the drone. Whereas Latin America being extremely unpredictable like they are, flying out of windows, running around ways you don't expect them to. They cannot use that predictability to do the roam clear, so the roam clear absolutely will Gohan preparing this little treat for Joystick once he comes inside the building. No one's going to be droning Visa to stop him either. This is, I don't see them predicting this. Is just down to timing. Is he going to pull it off? There we go. That is a great start for Gohan. Again, being a pain this round.
Joystick immediately fell by that Nitro Cell, and Shockwave, instead of following suit and jumping into admin, will get off the rappel as fast as humanly possible and try and hunt down Gohan. But he's long evacuated Visa, knowing that he's killed one of the biggest threats on the side of Empire.
They just cannot predict Liquid, and this is absolutely tumbling the Empire right now. They just cannot seem to figure out what to expect on their takes. The ability to just get into the building already being denied. Yeah, they're giving up admin, quote unquote, but they're giving it up to a C4 kill immediately, and that just denied admin control for Karzeka all the way up till now, pretty much. So he's going to try and take some of that top floor control now that they've actually cleared out Visa. But they have to turn into an execute soon again, because time is ticking down. You're almost down to the last minute, and you're now at the man disadvantage and lost your fastest player.
Surprised they're not popping open the admin hatch to have that kind of control, and now they're pinging out for it. So clearly some miscommunication here. Karzeka not understanding what the rest of the team will want. They used a ton of pellets on it when Karzeka was right there, but you don't really need the breaching for anything else on this site, as the main operative of attack here will be going down into Tellers. A frag grenade comes soaring out with toxic gas, but it won't connect on anyone as a drone starts to identify Paula and Sexy Cake stuck inside of Tellers and bouncing around. Sexy Cake just weaving away, trying to dart away from all the bullets coming through these kill holes. Karzeka will take down Sexy Cake finally, and that's Tellers evacuated.
I like that Gohan just completely locking down Yellow Stairs rotations and almost caught someone off, but the plant failing to come down here from Shepard because they cannot do anything about this yokai drone is absolutely going to cost them on time again. He can't do anything about it. No teammates are trying to take this drone out for him. Pings are coming out. They can't do anything.
This is a brilliant play by Zig. He's not using the yokai blast. He's just pinging and have someone shoot from below. That's Nesk. Constant pings coming out, and he might be able to wait this out to the last dying second. All of Empire are rushing downstairs to try and acquire the kill. Nesk will play cover. Nesk with another one, and he'll stop the plant once with the yokai, ready to stall it out again. Liquid into the overtime, and there it goes, the impact of the floor. Liquid dominating through this matchup against Empire. Beautiful echo play from Zig and Nesk.
At this point, I gotta imagine Empire just feeling baffled by what they're playing against. It is not what they're expecting, and it is absolutely what Liquid looked prepared for. But they're also a region that is prepared to improvise a lot when it comes down to any opportunities they see. They will play very fluid map control, and honestly, defenders playing very fluid on this map in general has been strong for many regions. So I would have expected Empire to be a bit more prepared to deal with that, because just teams have been running around back and forth, up and down the two floors fairly often, as there is 3 sets of stairs that you have to worry about. So they're just seeming to be caught off guard time and time again. Especially even like Joystick just getting caught off guard inside admin because no one was really watching down below in Visa. And this is something they're really gonna have to worry about is, yes, you think you have control of a room, but there's verticality in play. Not getting punished by it time and time again.
Well, for those of you at home, you can't currently see it right now, and actually the Liquid side of things is now shut off, but just watching the face cams there through preparation. All of Team Liquid were very animated and communicating and getting up in each other's face as they typically do, very emotional, but it was more on the side of Empire, their dejected silence. No one talking to each other, no one planning anything out, just a look of complete shock and awe on the side of Empire right now. Down 3-0 on Consulate. Liquid, no signs of stopping right now. And the biggest problem is they have 4 more chances at this, or Liquid is going to run away with it with a clean 2-0 into the semifinals against Norengo.
It's a lot of the same players continuing to shut them down as well, and their inability to shut down some of those players early is just costing them too much. They need to do something to hunt them down. Again, that drone coordination not coming out here is ultimately costing Empire a lot in terms of time management of it. Yes, they managed to eventually get the kills, often in trades or often in late trades, but just their inability to do anything early on. If you don't get an advantage, you're just going to get burnt on time because you can't control the 3 sets of staircases accurately, and those 3-speed defenders are just going to run around on that. Just, you saw the improvisation with the yokai drone was a perfect example of the way they're playing against him, along with that C4 from the Pulse. They didn't play the way you expected. You don't expect an Echo player to just sit there and ping for someone to shoot from below. You expect him to hit you with the blast. He was hoping to wait out 2 blasts and move on, and an early kill there from Shockwave. Finally, something to come out, but it's on Zig. Thankfully, that's the Echo taking out of play, so they may have a little bit better chance this round, but this is not a round where it's going to matter as much as Paulette taking right back onto Joystick yet again.
Joystick having a day to forget, but Zig will fall, and you won't be able to use the Yokais at least to stun out the plant, utilize the Yokai animation, but you'll still be able to hold on to the drones for intel wherever they may be positioned. Currently, it's a 4v4 midway through the round. It looks like Empire have tried to pick up the tempo a little bit, immediately getting on the rappels, droning out the first 4 in about 10 seconds, and immediately vaulting into admin, and the collapse towards the office, or sorry, the admin side push into A-bomb seems to be accelerating at a much faster pace than we've ever seen from Empire, at least in this map.
Yeah, I like the change up to the cap tower this time. Nice grenade throw there, punishing them for not having Jaeger. And wow, at 2K, this round finally going the way of Empire. The change ups and the operators as well, potentially working out for them. They've got to manage what utility they have left though effectively, and that's not going to help when they start to lose drones to Gohan. It's all down to those last 2, and 56 seconds is enough time if they could continue that, especially from Shockwave.
Well, it'd have to be a miraculous clutch here from Nesk, playing the top of yellow stairs, and he'll vault in through the rotate into bathroom. Shepard's putting the plant down. It's an easy lockout for Shockwave. 3, an ace by Shockwave, actually, as I read the stage.
Wow.
Beautiful play from him to start things off for Empire, trying to bring things back into their court. Still down 3-1, but a much better response that time around. And like we said, picking up the pace, and they start converting on a lot of their intel.
Yeah, you see the coach there trying to cheer Joystick up, trying to say, like, it's okay, you died at the beginning of the round. We won that one. It's fine. Like, you know, just bring it back. Bring it back. We won one. We stopped the bleeding a little bit. But I got to imagine if they lose one more round, it might be time to call that timeout and really try and reset yourselves. Take that 30 seconds to just breathe, close your eyes, something like that. Because while that was a much better round, that was also a snowball kind of round for them, and an ace from just one of their players. That's not something you can continue to repeat or rely on. So I don't know if it's the losses are over for Empire just yet.
Well, a reattempt here for Liquid, as they do have the basement available to them now. They don't want to go down just yet. They want to give this site another shot, and honestly, as long as you don't let Shockwave run train on you, you should be pretty good. It's just the stall out factor again. I imagine if Gohan gets down inside of Visa, or at least plays the bottom of Visa stairs, and can come up on a flank into Visa, he'll catch Joystick off guard again. He's been flying into admin without a lot of droning in towards Visa, and it caught him off guard once, and I'm surprised that he isn't playing with a little more caution inside of admin, considering the amount of nitro cells that have been coming out from Liquid and the number of times he's been caught off guard.
Well, it's not something you expect to deal with, right? You expect to drone out the room of admin, you swing on in, you take control of it, you use the Ash play to be able to play either side of the hallway, or even to be able to open up down onto the Visa stairs. There's a lot of flexibility you get, and it's one of the few areas of the map you can somewhat take confidently as long as you've droned it first, but Liquid have proven that to not be the case, and with the pulse of play again, as you mentioned, all these C4s, it's something he's going to have to watch out for, although I can't see Liquid trying the exact same thing again twice, but it's something they can prepare for. They can have someone play to that lobby, but instead it looks like Joystick might go to take lobby side instead of worrying about admin. We'll see if this works. He might actually play a little bit from below to try and ash from below the main position, where you see people playing behind that tipped over table inside projector. Looks like that's what he's potentially going for to help things out here. That is going to put a little bit of extra pressure on the defense, so they could try and pressure from this window, as we saw Shockwave doing a lot of work from this last time. Some good grenades up there as well, and Karjeka actually the one to take control of admin in the meantime. So Joystick changing things up here might be a big benefit for Empire, as they're going to play things a little bit differently, could keep them alive a little bit longer, and might be more impactful later in the round.
The big thing that has changed here for Liquid is the fact that they're no longer playing anybody inside of meeting room, the A-bomb, and that's because of the lack of a Jaeger being banned out by Liquid, so they're going to have to adapt to their own strategy here. But it was an easy frag grenade, a nice little toss into the back of meeting room, and it dispatches Sexy Cake with ease last time around, so there's nowhere really to play inside of meeting room that is safe from a frag grenade. unless you're contesting that window exceedingly aggressively.
It's interesting, too, that they went with Thermite as their only hard breacher rather than Habana, as Habana would be a much more effective hard breacher on this particular bomb site. So maybe they were expecting Garage to be the play. As you mentioned, it was available. So I got to imagine Empire were not necessarily expecting this to be the play. This potential run out coming here from Pala here could be the game changer. He's coming out to look for him. It's all down to time. There he has it.
Pala again with a run out the front door, and there's 3 members of Liquid downstairs, and they'll try to retract back upstairs. Get cut off there by Joystick at top spiral. We'll dispatch one of those nitro cells. Only one remaining now on the side of Nesk, and full retreat now, but Shepard has made it inside of A-bomb, and that's the problem with no one playing inside of A. It's easily captured by the attacking side, but the Toxic Babes will limit his progress on the plant, and he'll have to move his way out, as well as Zig's Yokai drones, but Scyther ripping through Pala. Joystick with another one of the sexy cake. It's all down to Zig and Nesk. The tandem again. They might be able to go for the pings. Nitro Cell directly on top of the Echo drone, won't come anywhere near the planting of Shepard, and he'll be able to get this off inside of Meeting Room. They relocate together to join up the top of Yellow Stairs. Just an errant blast from the Yokai, and worried about that connector window peak, but Karzeka still wins it out against Nesk. So a 1v4 for Zig to work his way out of with the MP5 SD. Ooh, great pre-fire there, and a great aiming preemptively from Karzeka. Still puts him in a 1v3 as he's running low on time. About half the diffuser time has expired. Ping is coming out on top spiral. Wild sprays will down and finish off side. Oh, another one! Zig down to a 1v1, sitting directly on the diffuser. Inside is Shepard, turns the corner, but no! Oh, the clutch attempt from Zig went from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat. And Shepard able to close it down.
Shepard had such low health too. He'd taken so much damage from those smoke canisters, getting that plant down. Absolutely winnable from Zig because he got the kills earlier against the much higher health players without really any contest on him. Just great pre-fires on his part, but everyone really doing their job that round on Empire. I think absolutely paying off. It was unfortunate Shock did get killed by that run out, but outside of that, they managed to do fantastic on the rest of their execute. And I got to imagine if you're Empire, that's going to feel a little bit better coming back. Maybe Joystick going to feel a little less tilted by him not getting shut down at the beginning of the round, actually having some impactful kills. But I got to say, Zig's use of the Yokais absolutely helped him clutch. You saw what he did there is he got off his own Yokais and he had his teammates pinging for him, calling out plays from those Yokai drones. And that is really working out for them time and time again because that's how he was able to get that, win the fight on the top of the spiral stairs is because of the ping coming out from that. So it's definitely something working out in his favor. Again, if they could get around where they shut down Zig early and get a kill on him, that could really help out because he couldn't reposition the Yokai in, but they still would be able to use them for pings. They are going to go and retry top 4 again here. The situation, though, like you said, they can't play inside of it, and that's going to be a big problem. But Empire, again, going with Thermite and the Thatcher makes me think they thought, okay, well, now they'll go Garage. Didn't seem to stop them last round, though, in terms of winning that out.
Last round of the first half here, and Liquid 3 consecutive attempts here. They're 0 for 2 right now, at least on this run. And yeah, questionable decision to go for 3 straight, but hey, maybe they're trying to play it off and fool Empire, although the thing about Empire is they do not change what operators they take.
Yeah.
They take the same operators no matter where you go. They play Universal 5, and maybe they'll change one thing up if they really feel like it.
In this case, mostly just for Garage, it seems.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of, like, you could probably fool Empire and thinking, yeah, they're probably going downstairs, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change a whole lot about their composition.
All that might change is some of their initial drone positions and some of the way that they look in terms of spawns. Yeah, they're going to adapt quickly to that, one would hope. Liquid, I doubt, are going to be tilted yet because they still have the point advantage and the map advantage, but I could easily see the first half ending 3-3 the way the Empire have kind of been coming back here, and not just weak, just not close comeback like we saw on Coastline, but actually really good rounds, even an ace for Shockwave. They are, again, taking control of Meeting Hall, admin office, again with Karzeka doing it rather than Joystick. Oh, looks like he might have actually come in through there and just gone over to the printer side. But he's looking for some early picks, and this is dangerous.
One of the big changes that Empire have made them so successful in these back-to-back rounds is the fact that they're actually holding flanks downstairs. They're spotting out that Liquid are playing a lot of members of the team downstairs, either in the first floor or in the basement, and playing for rotated backup stairwells. That's what caught Empire off guard earlier on, but now they've double-stacked a flank hold downstairs, most typically Karzeka and Scyther, as Shockwave will hold upstairs, sorry, Joystick will hold upstairs. It's It's a big alteration that Liquid are trying to deal with, but they continuously run into those flank holds at the most crucial moments.
Well, that's exactly what Liquid did to Empire on Coastline, so hey, why not? It seems only fair to turn the tables on them. Shepard's been great at getting these plants down regardless of what Operator's playing, regardless of if he has smokes. As long as someone can clear projector for him, it looks like right now, that's actually been a big stall for them. Because yeah, like you said, they've got those holds in place. Gohan has even taken a bit of damage, but they're starting to run out of time, 54 seconds, and they have yet to clear projector significantly enough to get a plant down in there, but at least with the flank holds, they could go for this plant, they could go for this execute, and there's no pulse in play, so it's going to be down to potentially pings coming out from the Yokai for Nest to go for the C4s, or even Gohan to go for a C4 play.
Well, it looks like Liquid are playing the absolute patience game here to try and fake out Empire, make them think that everyone is stacking topside, but here comes the collapse and a vault in immediately by Shepard, and oh, double flashbangs from his own team will blind him, and Scyther will be able to get a kill onto Ness. Paula with a quick double kill though onto Scyther and Karzeka. Shepard taking damage inside of A as well as Joystick pushes his way through top spiral. Double stacking for Liquid, but they have the man advantage. Here comes a flank though from Shockwave, and they'll line up with each other. Gohan and Zig both dispatched up. Sexy Cake with an immediate trade, and the Echo drone was stalling out the plant. Sexy Cake with another one with the shotgun, and oh, Impala will close it out from Spiral.
Such a great job delaying that between the smoke and the Yokai. They absolutely denied Shepard's ability to get the plant out. Had he been able to get the plant out, I think he might have been in a much better position to be able to support his teammates. But just, I don't know, they're just doing a great job denying and delaying inside a projector. Team Liquid, though, taking a timeout, realizing how close that was to them potentially losing it with that flank from Joystick. Now that Joystick is playing much different approaches, but it's a little late for that, of course, as now they've switched sides. But they want to come in to their attack side a little more prepared based off what they learned from the defenses as well, and also to just cool down some of those rounds that they lost.
There's a revolving carousel of flanks there because there was a defender for Liquid coming up yellow, and then Shockwave was chasing him up yellow, and so it pushed two defenders, Zig and Nest, together into the bathroom, at which point Joystick pinched in on them, and it all became just a mess inside of that bathroom hallway and outside by the small desk. But Liquid, with that waiting game, they don't rotate up at a minute left, they rotate up with about 25 seconds left, and it works out beautifully in the end. A lot of chaos in the middle, but they come away with the 4-2 lead heading into the half, and they'll take a tack timeout to regroup as they are 3 rounds away from the semifinals and a date with Norengo tomorrow.
Well, looking at the amount of kills there on the side of the screen, 10 for Paula. I think the strategy now is just continue to position for Paula, give him good intel, let him do his thing, and he'll do it. It seems to be very effective. Sexy Cake, they're going to be bringing out potentially the Galazzo, though. They had done it in 6 picks before. In this case, it looks like they're just going to straight out bring it and bring the threat. I think they know it's likely to be Garage in this case, although he is very useful on some of the other bomb sites. But they're going to be bringing that Thermite, so I do think they know they're going to be going for that. But they're not bringing a Thatcher, which means they're going to have to play for piano control potentially, or if they want to waste a smoke, they could go to play from the yellow stairs to try and pop batteries from there. A little riskier, but they're again playing with the 4-smoke strategy, something that worked out very well for them in Coastline. And it's going to be down to whether or not the C4s plus the smokes coming out here could be enough to stop them, but Shepard's going to have to do his thing very effectively and time those smokes so that the C4s don't have to be relied on, because those are definitely something you could easily miss with, and obviously they don't continue to do damage over time with smoke will in terms of buying time for your team. We'll see if Ness can continue to his reign of terror as Ash, though. Something that was mildly effective on Coastline, but I would say a bit more effective than it was for Joystick.
Absolutely. Joystick having a bit of a resurgence there near the end. It just wasn't enough to tip Empire over the precipice and start continuing that run that they were on. 2 back-to-back rounds, but fall apart in the end. So, like I said, they have 3 chances left. You lose 3 rounds in this game. Unless we go overtime, it is all over for your run, and you're back in the bleachers with everybody else as we come down to our final 4 at the end of today.
It's the unfortunate thing for Joystick and his team here, though. He still doesn't have a lot of flexibility on his defenders. Jaeger gets banned, and he just consistently plays Vigil. And this is something that, yes, it was okay for staying alive. He did a good job of staying alive on Coastline, but wasn't very effective towards the end. However, this is a map where you should be able to rotate a lot more freely, get back to sight, attaches to drop. But this is an early potential. Oh, there we go. As I'm saying that, lost a lot of health, though. Still has time for potential reset, but I gotta imagine he's pretty far from most of his teammates. However, they have both garage doors open. Not top floor control, though. It's Scyther following that up onto Paula, who's again been the big swinger here. This is a good start for Empire.
A lot of smokes coming out. It looks like we're just going for a side execute right now, but Zig can get blasted into the stratosphere by a Nitro Cell. Nesk will immediately trade out, but disoriented by the Echo Drone. Sexy Cake pushing close will rip through Karzeka. Shock is falling in the background, so it's a 3v2. Joystick on extremely low HP, and hearing the flank through the disorientation is Nesk. All he has to do is land one bullet on Joystick, but he's left Sexy Cake alone in behind White. No one has diffuser control currently for either of the members remaining on Liquid, as two defenders of Empire have played deep back. Oh, what a shot by Nesk to dispatch a Shepard in the office hallway, and suddenly the health advantage has twisted on the side of Liquid in a 2v5. And the Echo Drones will ping. Oh, what a shot by Sexy Cake. He spots out the Echo Drone. Second one will rain out, and there's kill holes above now as Joystick has gone top side. Nesk still bouncing back and forth. They're dealing with the second Yokai, and one rotates hallway, and they go back and forth. A 1v2 now for Nesk to work his way out of. A lot of bullets missing there for Nesk. He whips out the M45 in complete terror as more pings will come out onto Joystick, who's gone for the full rotate down, but he's 5 HP on both the remaining attackers. He'll down one, turning his direction back towards the garage hole. He's not noticing the pings. He'll clean his kill on Scyther. Set to a 1v1, and they're both 5 HP. First bullet to land will win it. Flashbangs go soaring to the back of the garage, and they won't blind Joystick, and Joystick with the pre-fire lands the headshot to the wall. It wasn't even necessary. You sneeze on either of them and you walk away with the win, but Joystick bringing it back there with 2 kills in the round.
Absolutely. His ability to rotate really making a key difference from him. Also, I think his ability to come back on some of those later rounds, I think that confidence really matters. When you are a roamer, especially the way he plays Jaeger, for example, it's all about that confidence. Your ability to confidently rotate around the map, because we see him get away with things you wouldn't expect to because he's confident. But some very aggressive play there from Liquid to push themselves deep into the garage very early. That did deny some of the ability to retake the site, especially with the Glaz holding the angle onto yellow stairs. But Nesk's ability to come in and do so much damage without getting pushed back really cost him. Even the pings there coming out on Joystick could have cost him his life, as well as the flashes from Nesk. Just came down to timing, like you said. Either of them breathing on each other at that point, and Joystick just happened to breathe first.
Commendable attempt there, though, from Nesk and Sexy Cake, as 2v5s, not the most commonplace scenarios to drop down to a 1v1, and almost successful on both sides, but it's how it goes when you've got incredibly clutch players and incredibly proficient fraggers on the side of Liquid. They still hold a 1-round lead on map number 2 and a 1-map advantage in the series. Now they'll be attacking top side as Empire will rotate to meeting room and CEO, and we'll see if they can learn from the trials and tribulations they had attacking this objective, as they were successful in the end. But it was also the mistakes that were learned by Liquid about no one being able to play inside of A-bomb, no one really being able to play safe down close to the bathroom door. They had to be further back to avoid any frag grenades soaring past. And the only big difference between the lineups is that Liquid are not bringing any frag grenades with no Jaeger.
Yeah. But look what they are bringing. 3 smokes and an operator with the ability to potentially track Joystick. I think they're bringing a great lineup. That's like you said, yeah, the frags, that is a bit of a bummer because they're not necessarily going to be able to do as much damage against the projector, but they can smoke the entire room and still have smoke grenades left to work with, but that might just depend on some of those initial picks. If they lose some of those players with smoke canisters early on, then yeah, they won't be able to do a ton with them because you are going to have the Jackal inside here from Paulo, but Paulo's put on a bit of a roll. So if anyone's going to survive long enough to do this, despite that early engagement, I think it could be Paulo. It might just be down to whether or not Zig's going to live long enough to get his smokes out. Either way, though, this is going to be Empire needing to play as much intel as they can, and they have 1 bulletproof camera that Joystick brought and hopefully set up in a good position to see through all those smokes. If so, and they do nothing about it, then those smokes really, I guess, won't matter too much. Joystick setting up for a potential run out, similar to what we saw before, checking his cams, getting ready for this, and it can't be droned at the moment, but no one on that side of the building, unfortunately for him. So
no info for Joystick to collect, and I find it interesting that Liquid are stacking for an admin side push over with 0 hard breach, not bringing a Hibana, which would be the best choice in this scenario, especially considering they have the mute. They gotta have someone go down to circle desk, clear out Joystick first, and then get rid of the mute jammers quite easily from below. Don't have to worry about a bandit trick, and also no frag grenades means anyone playing on A balcony is going to have to constantly contend with Shepard playing in the backhand corner, the strong side corner for all smoke players. Actually, that's Shockwave, just playing the same loadout with a Nitro Cell instead of the Toxic Babes. Still a powerful position that Liquid will have a tough time clearing with no ability to breach his backside and no ability to launch in explosives to deter him from playing his position.
Just keep in mind, they might not know there's no frag grenades out there unless they've identified all the attacking operators, which they may have done at this point. But the fact that there's 6 picks available does leave it up in the air. They might think, oh, they're going to switch off one of those smoke operators to a frag operator, but there goes at least 2 of the smokes early on because they've got plenty left to work with. That was 1 from Glaz, 1 from the Jackal, but a nice early kill there by Gohan. That's Shockwave down, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on there as that is a C4 off the board. He did lose a lot of health in the process, but could potentially get reset if they still have some time, but no, they do not. 23 seconds.
Scyther just launching fires with the preemptive smokes coming out, and a flank up spiral as well, and choking on the gas is Nesk. Immediate trades leave us in a 3v3. Oh, what a shot by Scyther will drop Gohan, putting the advantage back on the side of Empire. Sexy K taking damage too, and Sig almost shoots his teammate directly in the head. Able to down off Karzeka, rushing straight through, and they almost shoot each other again, finding each other a connector. Scyther playing the bathroom doorway. The plant coming out from Zig into the overtime. The pings are coming out. Joystick will walk it down with ease. And we're level once again at a 4-4 on Consulate.
This has been such a great map for Shockwave and Scyther, and now the Joystick's able to do what he wants to do. This seems to be working out much better for the guys at Empire here. Despite that ban against Jaeger, this is actually working out a bit for them because they potentially used the ban on Jaeger to their advantage. You're talking about in the early rounds where they were using those nades to clear out Projector, the fact that Liquid couldn't sit comfortably in Projector, but Liquid did do a good job playing verticality a bit better, I suppose, than we're seeing from the Empire guys, but Empire winning a lot of gunfights as Liquid are pushing in. Even the smoke kill there onto Nesk, who I think thought he might have been out of the range of the smoke, continued to choke on it. This is definitely working out for those guys, but the delays from the Echo drones as well, definitely working out. I think both teams using Echo to his full advantage, and now we're going to get a little bit of an extra from the 6th pick there. We'll see how effective Shockwave is on that operator. But Empire is certainly not out of this yet. They've actually brought it back to a tie. This is their map. This is the one we expected to be going strong on. Despite a rough start, they might be getting the momentum. If they can continue to suppress the momentum of Liquid, they might get Liquid into an emotional position where they're having trouble come back. Even if it manages to somehow squeak into it overtime, is definitely possible. We could make it to 3 maps here if Empire can keep this up.
It was a 3-0 lead for Liquid, looking like they were soaring away with this and heading their way to a swift and decisive 2-0, knocking the European powerhouse, the Russian powerhouse of Team Empire off the map, but good resiliency here from Team Empire. They've drawn things level at 4-4. It's a tough position to be in, though, because now they head to lobby after 2 consecutive successful defenses, and this might be where things get a little tough, considering Liquid are also mirroring most of what they brought last time around, just swapping out Gohan onto a nade operator, which is Sledge. They got the Glaz, so they got 6 smokes.
Yeah.
It's a tough look here, especially on a lobby push.
Yeah, this is a good site for smoke pushes because you could smoke the majority of the lobby out and then continue to smoke after it. If the Glaz is left alive to peek from a very far distance all the way back at the gate, then he could be such a threat. You literally can't do anything if it's smoked out and anyone goes anywhere near the diffuser if it's planted near the entrance itself. So as long as he lives long enough to be that threat, Sexy K could basically break the game for them at that point because there's nothing they can do to fight him except for just get lucky.
Well, it'll be up to Empire to try and repel that. They have the evil eyes on Shockwave to try and slow those down and be able to see through the smoke, give pings and calls to the team, relay all the information about where everyone is pushing through that copious amount of smoke that eventually will come out. And also, the Echo drones to try and delay plant in tandem with the Toxic Babes. You got a Nitro Cell on Karzeka as well. There's a lot of plant denial on the side of Empire right now. They're just going to have to worry about the surprise attacks, considering Liquid have been ramping up the pace of their attacks in back-to-back rounds.
Well, the great thing is, of course, you can have the Maestro Evil Eyes go for a ping on where the plant is going down. Then because of that, the Echo drone, the Yokai, can hit the right spot the first time and use the smoke to actually cover and rotate and not be identified in its position. But smokes are already starting to come out as they have them to spare. There's 2 again to try and start to get some ground here. We'll see if they can turn that into anything. Because so far, it just seems like they're just using it to rotate. Already down to 1 minute left, and it looks like Gohan nearly finished off by the Maestro Evil Eye itself, but nope, finished by the gun of Shockwave. He needs to not overpeak this because his ability to deny with that huge machine gun, I mean, it pretty much is going to stop them from being able to play on that doorway. Because imagine you smoke the whole doorway, all he's got to do is hold down on that trigger and just move the gun back and forth around head height, and there's nothing to do. You hear more smokes coming out for that plant.
Here we go. We got to see where Sexy Cake is looking. You see the Echo drones heading to the ceiling. The ping is going to be coming out from those Evil Eyes. Shockwave, though, is going to get ripped up by Sexy Cake as he tries to burst through, and the plant will be successful. It'll be a 4v4 post plant for Empire to work out of to take the lead on Consulate. Liquid once again in control. He's got 3 people on Liquid stacked outside. Shepard, though, with a great shot with the SMG-11 will take care of Nest. Man advantage now for Empire as they all slowly work their way towards that front door. And they're trying to avoid Sexy Cake with all that smoke cover down. He's all the way in the back, like you said. A run out up top from Shepard. Not a lot to be done there as he'll be detected and back off. Counter defusing now is Scyther on the bomb. No one in position to stop this. There goes Sexy Cake going down. Scyther still defusing. 2 for Paula, but it's not enough. Empire with the rebound on the 4v4 retake and defuse. And they take the lead now on Consulate after dropping the first 3 consecutively.
That was very impressive on what should have been an almost unwinnable situation, but because they burned so many of their smokes, they didn't have any left to be able to protect Sexy Cake from playing that long angle by the gates. He was caught on the rotate as well. He did manage to at least take down Shockwave, which helped him get that plant down. It was also surprising that the Yokai was not able to deny the actual plant from going down, despite the fact that we saw him have it, looking just in time, might have just lost his right as he was about to fire again, and maybe just waited too long, but the runouts surprisingly working out, not to mention there's just the ability to long arm that from the position. They planted it too far over to the side rather than dead center, ultimately costing them in the end in terms of ability to cover from a long arm. And going down to Garage, they're going to sneak the 6th pick in again. But so far, they have been on such a tear on this defense. I almost wonder if we could just see them come back through every single defensive round here. They managed to sweep away with it because they're at such a lead here, not necessarily in terms of points, but the fact that they've had such a flawless defense.
Biggest problem right now for Liquid is they're skipping a lot of steps. You saw those smokes come out to try and push out Meeting Room, and it forced Shockwave, who was on the Maestro, to drop out of Meeting Room and downstairs, and Gohan should have been the one to cut him off, except it was Shockwave winning out the gunfight against Gohan while falling through a hatch back down to main lobby. Just an unfortunate scenario there for Gohan, as he should have been one of the most influential flank holds in that entire round and probably could have swayed the entire outcome of that retake scenario if the Evil Eyes aren't in play to be able to zap anyone and lower their health inside the smoke, or just the Alda isn't available to acquire one of the kills that he got.
Yeah, I think, like you said, they are trying to use smokes as a bit of a shortcut. Yep. And it's something that, yes, it worked on Coastline very well, but I feel like Empire kind of started to figure that out now, and it's something they're learning to deal with. They're bringing the Maestro to help counter that as well, as the bulletproof cameras coming out from Joystick on this Vigil. I think it seems to be enough along with those Yokais, and just the way that this map plays out very differently. There's going to be a spot coming out onto Karjeka, but he's going to be in a position where it's not going to do a ton against him. Unfortunately, his camera, though, is going to be spotted. Sitting on it there, that is going to be for a call out. Thankfully, he was hitting the ping out, so there's going to be kind of run outs. As Garage starts to get open here, they're working towards this plant. Hopefully, they're not going to jump the gun on this again because it bit them in the butt the previous time.
Well, thankfully for Liquid, there is no utility currently from Empire or at any point from Empire that will stop the breaching of the Garage panels, and that's a second Valkyrie spotted out by Paula. The man is just hunting them.
Yeah. Fair enough. You definitely want them to depend on the Maestro Evil Eyes as well as the Yokai drones and the bulletproof cameras. But that's a lot of intel combined. You throw in the Valkyrie as well, and that is so many cameras, way more than the actual attackers can. Oh, there we go. See, there's one of them down underneath the van.
Frag grenade coming out, and it looks like, yes, it will be underneath the van, try and clear out any of those Evil Eyes that are typically placed at the back right corner of White Van to look underneath and be able to zap anyone trying to get a plant off at the front of the van in the berth of the breach hole. Get a 3-man stack right now, still outside of Garage, and Liquid re-droning the objective. They don't really have a lot of top control here to hold down flanks. No one actually inside the building right now for Liquid as the drones continue to come out in mass, and it looks like Gohan has identified this one flaw here in Liquid's push, is that you don't have any control from people jumping out of windows above you, rotating to your side, jumping out yellow window, going Visa, and establishing kill holes in the floor. And there's currently one member of Empire upstairs right now waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need those outside cams if you know where everyone's stacking up. Joystick with a nice early kill, and now he's free to rotate around to use the verticality to his favor, or even, as you mentioned, to fly out those windows come late round, or even a post-plant situation. Smoke's coming out now. They've got to start to make this work. They are starting to destroy some of that utility, but so little time left.
Nitro Set will blast away Paulos. There's an Echo Drone above him too. They're able to get rid of an Evil Eye, but Shockwave and Karzeka both tack on. Ooh, 2 quick kills here, and a third now for Nesk as he catches Scyther off guard. It's Joystick now at the top of Yellow Stairs, takes down Sexy Cake. So once again, it's Nesk against Joystick in a 1v1. This time Nesk has to get the plant down. There's nothing really stopping here, but there will be constant pings from that Echo Drone that was remaining, busting down the wooden barricade. He's gonna come down to the wire here. Pings coming out, and Joystick! The dying milliseconds will stop the plant attempt. Even if Nesk got it off, he probably would have been shot in his back as he tried to retreat out the breach hole, but beautiful 1v2 clutch there from Joystick. Great positioning and relocation through Zig hallway, down spiral stairs, and back to the office hall, knowing that Nesk needed a full 7 seconds to plant.
Yeah, you can see the smile on Joystick's face, the coach coming over and congratulating him for the clutch again. Just doing work from above there. His ability to rotate this map, I know I said it before, but you could not rotate Coastline effectively. His ability to rotate here made the difference in at least 2 clutches now. Glass and Smokes is great for getting that plant down, but it is far from everything, and their over-dependence on this. You see the aggression, the animatedness, as you put it earlier, coming out here from Liquid is not a good position for them to be in when they're struggling here. This might even be a tactical timeout being called, looks like, as they're trying to kind of recalculate what they're doing wrong. Like, we cannot rely on just Smokes. We need to do something to shut down players like Joystick from doing work. But it's not just Joystick. We're talking about him a lot because it's his ability to come in at the right moment that's working out. But you see the kills are on the left-hand side. Almost everyone within a 3-kill range, you've got 7 to 10 kills each because everyone is contributing pretty much every round. I gotta imagine the cost for these guys, at least on the defensive round, is gonna be fairly high.
And this is more of what we expected to see from Empire. A full team effort, that's the name of the game for them these days, as it used to be the Joystick and Karzeka show. And the others would play support and give out callouts, but mainly all intel was fed through Joystick and Karzeka to go and hunt and take everyone out. Or they wouldn't really do all that well. And we saw that on Coastline. Karzeka and Joystick really not showing up to the party on time. But here on Consulate, they're able to bring things back. And the whole team is performing. It's a full depth performance. This is the 3rd time we've seen these people. Hi, how are you?
We only have so many cameras, man. We don't have the evil eyes, the black eyes, the bulletproof cameras to set up around here. Definitely looking like these guys are, I mean, I wouldn't say they're angry, but they're definitely getting a little passionate about winning this out and not getting to map 3. But like I said, though, map 3 is one that they're fairly good at, whereas Empire hasn't had, I don't think, I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, as great of a record on it. So they're definitely going to have to bring it hard on order if it gets to that, because if it doesn't get to that, then Empire are out either way. So here they're going to go for what could be the final round of this map, because this is a match point here, or at least map point for Empire, and they're again bringing the operators that have been working. So you've got 4 operators bringing cameras of some kind. The bulletproof cameras, the evil lights, the black eyes, the yokais, they all kind of rhyme there. And then, of course, Lone Shepherd for the smoke canisters.
Well, it's Team Empire winning 6 of the last 7 rounds. Just on a tear right now on Consulate. So they seemingly figured out their flaws from map number 1 on Coastline. And we head in, like you said, to match point. They'll head upstairs. And they've been undefeated on the defensive side right now. And there's no real signs of that slowing down, considering Liquid, like we said, okay.
Some struggles there.
You reset your keybinds during the break.
There we go.
There you go, bud.
Hopefully that will be spotted on the throw. Now it's a bit late. But again, hopefully that doesn't tilt this round as they had that momentum going for them.
I mean, it looks like there's a tilt factor on both sides. The way Liquid are talking to each other right now. And
I think maybe Empire are just excited to try and close this out. And we saw a little bit of that from Liquid as well. They were a little bit hyped to try and finish off their last round potentially as well. Nesk does at least spot that there's the Vigil around, but they just can't seem to do anything about him until the end of the round.
Well, another admin take coming out from Liquid, and again, they at least have the frag grenades this time from Gohan to clear out anyone out from the power position in the back right-hand corner of meeting room, relative if you're looking from the A balcony. But no hard breach, no Hibana to be able to blast open the backside of the wall and give yourself a secondary rotate, because they're just pumping smokes down the main hallway, and it's the easiest pre-fire in the world for everyone on Empire when you're going through a very, very tight corridor. All you gotta do is, even through the smoke, aim head level, wiggle back and forth a little bit with the mouse and hold mouse 1. And there's a good chance to connect with the head because of how funneled everyone will be from Liquid trying to push in that smoke.
And that's the thing you have to think about with smoke plays is how much are you actually covering your position versus just managing to cover a little bit. They see the reinforced wall that was leading on the top of Visa stairs actually working out in their favor there, and an angled play coming out from that. So this is actually stopping their ability to put pressure on to those Visa stairs from the top. They do have some drones coming out that did drone out the player inside Projector, but they haven't decided how they actually want to approach this yet. They're just kind of calling some audibles, figuring out how they can use their beachhead here in admin to work in their favor. They are opening up the top of the wall. Could be to throw a grenade over potentially, or even to set up for Nest to throw flashbangs over. We do see the grenades rotating around here over to Gohan to try and clear out the position. He is going to be watching for it, though. Shockwave could stop this mid-throw. The timing is very seems to have and lands the shot. The grenade does enough damage, though, to soften him up for the kill from Sexy Cake.
Oh, Sexy Cake with the suicide mission into the Toxic Smoke, and another Toxic Babe at the rotate, and Zig is choking on it extremely quickly. Bullets rain through the smoke now, and Shepard will shut down Nest. It's down to a 4v2. Zig and Paula trying to work their way out of this. Oh, they're completely lined up. One after another. Zig and Paula just choice to go for the hip fire. Tries to lock it out. It's Paula alone now in a 1v3. This is looking like it's going to map 3 with 18 seconds left. Trying to rotate up spiral stairs on 20 HP. There's a yokai drone staring directly at Paula. The smoke will choke him off. His only push in. The diffuser lost in the depths of A-bomb inside of meeting room. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to border. Paula with no possible entry. The time will run out. Empire bring map 2 back, and they stretch it to 3.
What a comeback from them. This is worrying for Liquid, because they had such a seeming advantage in their play on Coastline, seeming like, well, that target ban onto joystick of the Jaeger, but not just as a target ban to joystick, but also enabling a lot of that smoke play. Yes, it worked for one map, but it completely fell apart. We did not see them with a single successful attack with those smokes coming out. So I gotta imagine, if that is their plan for border, it's gonna get shut down by Empire.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is 2 maps in the book. We're gonna throw over to the analyst desk to break down both Coastline and Consulate between Empire and Liquid. Boys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Flynn, and what a match so far, gentlemen. This has been pretty darn exciting, and I have to say, we kind of expected it at this point. Team Liquid versus Team Empire, 2 very aggressive playstyles that have shown up. I want to talk to you about this first of all, Alex, and Coastline. 7-5 victory for Liquid, but those operator bans, Sophia and Jaeger.
Yeah, so Liquid is one of the few teams that has banned Jaeger a decent amount of time. I think this is going to be the 6th time they've banned Jaeger, going into Consulate as well. But when you ban the Jaeger, all of a sudden you open up for a lot of nade plays. We didn't see as many as you'd probably expect, and with Ying then also being banned, it kind of evened out. But when you then go to do the same thing on Consulate, right, with the IQ combined, but leaving Valk and Echo in play, that seemed to bite them in the butt at the end of that match.
Yeah, I mean, they usually run the Valkyrie itself. I mean, you saw Nesk how much he loves to play the operator and how much he's done with the operator in the past. But to highlight Consulate specifically, IQ Jaeger ban, Ying, but then Mira on Consulate, which usually doesn't really have that big of an effect. We saw the effect of an operator like Echo from both sides, though, James.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen that information gathering on the defense really assisted. Now, from Liquid, something that they were bringing out, emphasizing the Glaz, which we haven't seen a ton of. Obviously, he gets banned quite frequently, but Glaz, Jackal, Dokkaebi, that was even down to the last round. So much smoke utility, so much disruptive hunting utility to hunt those roamers, Dokkaebi, Jackal, hunt any positions on site as well. It's nice to know where the anchors are, so you can pre-fire them, flush them out, and you've got 6 smokes to fuel that Glaz to completely take over. And yet, Empire were prepared to deal with it every step of the way, whether that meant, you know, delaying and not peeking until the smokes has subsided, or using that intel gathering from such as the Echo to deny what they needed to.
On the attack, though, from my perspective, a bit of a weaker bit of drone play from both teams on both maps, and maybe that's something to change from map number 3. We're going to go to border. We'll pull up a few statistics on the map of what has happened so far between the teams on it, and 7 wins for Liquid on the map compared to the 2 of Empire.
So, yeah, undefeated on both sides, but it's still a bit one-sided in those results.
Yeah, I mean, I think when going into border and then we're probably going to see them ban Mirror again, to be honest, from Empire. They got 24 bans on Mirror, I think. The last 2 games they've played in here, at least, they've banned Mirror as well.
Yeah, I'm no scientist, but I think that's a pretty
It's
high
a
number.
decent chance, yeah. Let's go with that. But I'd probably see them ban Glass against Sexy Cake. He has been a force to be reckoned with, even on Consulate.
And you know what? I'll talk about the Dokkaebi for a second, because we've seen her used by both teams fairly efficiently to flush out roamers and even assisting with the smokes. Now, it's not the same way that we see, for example, Fabian from G2 running the operator, where it's mostly late round flanks and the call is being used in a much more defined way. But its effect was definitely felt in the round.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about Dokkaebi. You can have a lot of versatility. You don't have to be with the team if you want your utility to be assisting the team, because that's a global ability. You can activate it from anywhere on the map, and it assists everyone on the map, or in this case, has a negative effect on the defenders. So yeah, the Dokkaebi hugely playing a part in those matches. And I mean, moving forward, as you were saying, that potential Glaz ban, I certainly do see that being a possibility, especially since, I mean, on Border in particular, it's so close quarters and there's a lot of choke points, whereas on Consulate, long range, choke points, but a lot of crossfire opportunities. And if you're talking about trying to say, let's say, push up long desk, as we saw at the end of that with the Glaz, the amount of smoke coverage required to actually make that viable is so immense that it ends up being unwieldy.
I definitely think from Empire we should see them maybe try and target ban a little bit now, because they have a decent amount of info and they could probably throw Liquid off with this.
Target ban Border, though. What do you expect?
I want to see them ban Glass. They've been struggling with Sexy Cake on that one.
And for defense?
I mean, they're going with Mirror, I'm almost certain.
And on your side?
Well, I mean, if you just keep continuing the patterns, right, Liquid will be getting rid of the Echo. And Mirror, I think, pretty safe one, but I'd love to see, you know, something left of field thrown out. I'd like to see some strong tellers and customs holds, just, you know, whipped out those off-meta bomb sites. And I think if you come to the table and you have a strategy prepared to defend those bomb sites, you have good utility set up, perhaps some good anchor positions, I think that will make the telling difference in what is turning out to be a much closer match than initially it looked like.
Yeah, Jaeger definitely on the board, in my opinion, for defender bans again. Border is one of the maps where you can use a lot of the extra bits of space that are above every single wall to just shook utility from behind, burn players from behind, and also Zofia's effect to stun lock and crowd control, especially the Bandit, who's trying to trick from behind a wall. We've seen a lot of office takes. No matter the site, you're going to be pushing it through office into archives or archives into office. So that's a bit of a safe bet.
Yeah, and it'll enable both Echo and Maestro. With a Jaeger ban, it's so much harder to get, or so much harder for the defending team to keep alive the Maestro and Echo utility.
It's a toss-up, right? I mean, Echo has been one of the most banned operators for Liquid, and it'll play into hugely the information gathering, you know, of another operator like Valkyrie. You know, information gathering on board is so important. You know which side they're pushing, you can dedicate your resources to it. But if we in fact do see a Jaeger ban, crikey, that's going to be so terrifying. I would not want to be playing on a defense, even one round without a Jaeger on Border, whether it's a Ying oppressing you, whether it's grenades, stun grenades, the smokes from the Glaz. Oh my gosh, I don't want to be anywhere near a defense on Border without a Jaeger. I
wonder how strong of an operator Maestro is going to be on this, because Zig famously played a ton of Maestro in Armory and in Tellers, in Archive, excuse me. But the way he plays it with a lot of soft walls on that Armory wall and use it to gather information, how sometimes what they're going to do sometimes is run out at the start of the round and put one on the balcony just to try and waste utility on your side.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that teams know now, and it's something you can deal with very, very quickly. So I don't expect Empire to default to that. I do think we need to see a little bit more consistency in how Liquid does their roam clear. It's like if you refer back to Consulate, for example, they spent almost 2 minutes trying to figure out that joystick was just sitting below the main door. They kept droning the Visa stairs and assumed that he was there, and that really hurt them later on. So you can see there's a bit of stress on the team when we cut to the player camp sometimes. There was a bit of an argument going on at one point, so they need to calm down a bit now and then collect themselves and get into this game, and yeah.
A similar way to Team Liquid, I assume.
Yeah, and I mean, really, Team Liquid on these attacks, like you were saying, trying to clear out the roamers, joystick, for example. How can you fail to clear out roamers when you are bringing two of the most efficient roam clearing utilities in Jackal and Dokkaebi? That should be, you know, it should be helping that out so much. On Border, I expect the roaming likely to be less of an issue, but that said, you know, small map, but a huge amount of verticality, and if you do have roamers on those bottom floor in the area. So for example, instead of customs, when there's an attack mounted onto the CCTV side, you got a C4, Pulse, Valkyrie, even using the Echo drones for info. It's devastating for the attack.
All right, well, that is all from our side here. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 3, Border, it's back to you. Flynn, Devin, take it away.
Thank you very much, Milos. And the boys on the desk, it's been an interesting game filled with a lot of streaky comebacks here and there. And honestly, it's hard to predict right now. Heading into a map like Border, you talk about the aggression of Liquid, but you also talk about the aggression of Empire seemingly recoiling right now. Not as powerful as it has been in the past, not as present, it's not as dominating, it's not as smothering. Empire seem to be playing a little more reserve right now. Maybe that's just the stature of this game. You know, this is the quarterfinals of the 6th Invitational. Winner of this map, this individual map, first to 7 on this, unless we go to overtime, you're going to the semifinals.
Yeah, I think Empire were the favorites by a lot to get into the semifinals, but Liquid have definitely put up a fight. The operator bans are definitely going to be key here, as was mentioning by Zyronic down there. A key ban would be that glass ban against Sexcake, but to be fair, it didn't do a ton for them per se, in that it didn't win them a single attack round last map. And while Joystick did play a little bit of glass on Coastline, it was also somewhat ineffective by him. The upside Empire have is with all the times that Liquid have won this map, that means a lot of footage to work with. There's the ban there from Empire, pretty much echoing what Zyronic said. You want to shut that down. You want to stop their smoke play from being effective. It means if that was their plan on this map, they're going to have to rethink a good bunch of that. And Thatcher, the first to go from Empire, that is an interesting choice in terms of whether or not they're going to be able to keep a lot of the battery juggling going, things like that, in terms of denying the pushes into the locker side. And the Echo coming out. So I mean, that's interesting considering Empire also got a lot of use out of the Echo drones on Consulate, but to be fair, Zig also did get quite a bit on Coastline, so better to not deal with it, I suppose, if you don't want to. And actually, it is I'm sorry, it was Liquid banning that, so they got a lot of use out of it as well. Though it's either way, you're costing yourself something, and you had to have planned for that strategy.
So we see one of the most effective operators in the last 2 games, Echo, be removed from play on Border, and the glass ban is interesting from Empire because half of me says, well, if they suck with it, let them keep sucking with it. You're winning a lot of rounds. And part of me says, yeah, but it's an entirely different map, and you never know when someone can wake up, and having the ability to see through smokes is a very scary prospect when your entire tournament life is on the line. So I kind of understand it at its base roots.
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely tricky to decide how to play things here, and some of this is going to have to be improvised, but we're seeing some 6 picks coming out pretty early here. Sexcake not having the glass on board, instead is just going to look for an opportunity to blind them. If he can't be invisible, he's going to be trying invisible by, you know, by way of just taking away their sight. However, it will be denied by a 6-pick to an operator that Sexcake himself was abusing or trying to abuse on Coastline. For Shepard, an interesting choice for him to actually give up the smoke to Karjeka, as he's been playing a lot of smoke so far this match, and it's been working out pretty well for Shepard for the most part. So we'll have to see how that works out for them. They will also have the mute jammers there to help with things, along with just the ability of Joystick to play on his operator finally again, although I gotta say, his visual play at last map, pretty effective.
Well, Devin, do you remember the last event we did together?
So many moons ago.
It was the Euro Cup in Milan, where Empire were participating before they had even been promoted to Challenger League.
A lot of people have been doubting the teams, didn't get to see firsthand what we saw there, and you could see this coming.
Well, in that very game against Penta, a pro league team at the time, Clash was still pretty new. It was about a month old, and it was Shepard playing inside a fountain with the Clash, and boy did Penta struggle with that. And it seems like it's a recurring strategy here on Border for them that has lasted nearly 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah, I like the fact there about Liquid always going through maps. I think that's something you definitely don't need to remind us of. It's been a bit of a long series of battles with Liquid. However, they managed to prevail in the more important one, which was the comeback that they made to get here now. So they definitely have the possibility to do so again. But they're going to have to do something about Shepard. Even if they go for those Candelas, Shepard could potentially deny their ability to really use those effectively to get into sight if he can continue to block them out. Not to mention they're going to have to evilize as well. And Joystick's just going to do Joystick things running around the map, and that's the roam clear, something that they were mentioning down at the analyst desk was not really super strong for them on the last map. So that could really come to bite them here on this map if they can at least control the approaches and the rotates around to that. They do have the Twitch drone this time to be able to try and take out some utility that might be there to clear out some of those ADSs. Could be useful to take out the mute jammers as well, depending on the angles to approach those. Ness doing his typical Ash play here, which has been fairly effective this tournament. Is going to continue to try and pressure in, starting with an angle first. This is something we saw them doing in their earlier matches as well. Nice attempt there from Gohan, but I'm not sure that that hit the way he wanted it to.
You can see through the silhouettes that Shepard was walking around turtle shell style. As far as that clash, whipping out the most likely the full auto SMG9s. Like I was trying to find him on the board, and no, he's got the pistol. Oh no, it's just the wrong logo for the SMG9. Okay.
As if not, he's got a lot of bullets in there.
Yeah, really.
Well, he is going to do what he does well, which is stand in the doorway and deny them the ability to do anything with that hole that they've just opened up, and be able to spot them anywhere they're playing in case anyone from Empire wants to take a peek onto them. They may have to consider using a bit more of CCTV, which they surprisingly have not taken control of CCTV until now, as Sexy Kick finally jumps in there to get started to set up a bit more with some angles through the doorway, try and see if he can maybe catch Shepard off guard a little bit. So far, they're not giving up an inch. 34 seconds left says you're going to have to make something happen here soon, Liquid.
Coming down to the wire for Team Liquid in a 5v5. They're trying to flash out Shepard, but they don't really have a lot of utility to deal with him other than the Ying to continuously blind him and maybe go on Canadians to get him behind, but they take down an Evil Eye. And here come all the Candelas. They rush straight through, but look at Shepard slow them all down. They're stuck in mud and quicksand. Gohan will take down Shock as one kill, and that's the Alda dispatch from play. Sexy Keiko immediately trade onto Scyther as he's knifing directly up against Shepard. He's stuck in the corner, back and forth. Joystick with two, though. Pressing right up against, trying to go for a third against the wall. He can't vault as the plant is going down, and Nesk will clean it at the end after Joystick inadvertently downed his own teammate in the attempted retake.
Well, that looked like someone trying to thumb wrestle with just pinkies at this point. That was not a great fight for either team. Very, very sloppy play from both. Just trying to find any edge they could in manpower and kills, despite all the smokes coming out there. Maybe it should be Shepard back on that smoke. It was just seeming like a struggle there for Karjeka to be able to be effectively stopping the plant. Good flank there from Gohan, which you saw there as well. Was able to kind of put a lot of pressure here on the shield. And just, I guess, good capitalizing on whatever small mistakes you could find, not to mention the team kill that came out there from Joystick, who just could not find the angle around the hole, and that was just an unfortunately made hole. Did not work out for him. We'll see them try lockers again. No, this is something we saw from them on Coastline, which is continuing to try site until either they want to change or they feel like they've made it work.
That was a really sloppy attack there from Liquid, but it works out, so you can't complain too much, especially considering Empire returning with the seemingly exact same strategy. They're going to try and slow you down on the wall with the clash, and I imagine if you're Team Liquid in this scenario, you're trying to envision a world in which you can get rid of that clash so you don't have to knife her up against a wall for at least 3 or 4 attempts before just getting shot.
I would hope it involves Gohan going underneath instead of coming around from the flank, because he can open up a lot of the floor and just skeleton key around wherever that clash is walking and just do enough damage over time to be able to take him down, or at least make him think about things.
5 seconds left before.
And we'll see if they go for that approach, but they're going to have all these cameras outside for potential jump outs, or at least intel to try and cover those flanks a little bit better. We can also see Shepard playing in a different way as well. He doesn't necessarily have to play it the same way, but it looks like he's returning to site to do exactly that. They are bringing the Ying again as well, so we'll see take 2 of that attempt.
Hopefully Liquid can pick up the pace here, because last time around that was a big flaw. Everyone's taken a lot of time to try and execute the exact same strategy, all pile in through one breach hole in the armory wall, and it all results in everyone getting stuck in quicksand. From Shepard slowing them down, looks like Shock is trying to get extremely aggressive on jump outs. There's a Maestro waiting for anyone to repel locker sandwich window, playing off of Scyther's Valkyrie cameras. Already placed as Gohan will get rid of that. Easy as pie. Still up on the roof, and he's got no real problems right now. I mean, Drone was actually the operative to spot out that Valkyrie camera, and you still have Shockwave playing extremely aggressive in archives, and that's what he got caught out last time we saw in the replays.
Yeah, that is definitely risky. Shockwave does play a little bit aggressive with his Maestro play, and it sometimes works. He's able to kind of click on the heads occasionally, but it can be punished as well, and that is something that Gohan's looking to do. But we are not going to see that underneath flank just yet, if he's going to go for that. So that will give Shepard the opportunity to still kind of move around, and this is going to be one of the grenades used up, which of course they only have the 2 frag grenades. So if that doesn't do a bunch to knock him down, which so far did no damage to Shockwave, that could be problematic for this push against the Clash again.
Soars just past the back of the pack of Shockwave, crouched inside of Archives. Here comes Gohan, repelled on a locker sandwich window. And looks like they have a member of Liquid down on the ground waiting for the run out, and he's gonna bait it perfectly. Paula will take down Shockwave as he tried to jump out that same Archives window again. A frag grenade will push another defender on Empire back into the small office, trading bullets, but Joystick with a run out down below. Paula with the immediate trade once again, playing support down below, but they have lost that skeleton key, and Shepard is still gonna be a massive nuisance trying to push in through this breach hole in the armory wall.
I gotta say, that was almost worth it though, because you do not want that pressure on the sandwich when the push starts coming in. So taking down Gohan there, I mean, it is a bummer to lose 2. I'd still say worth it in terms of Joystick, but it is a bummer that Shockwave's down, and now that Shepard's falling with him, this is falling apart quick thanks to Sexy Cake.
Everyone dropping like dominoes on the side of Empire, and all of a sudden it's Cypher alone in a 1v4, and Ness will clean it up with ease as they all rush in off the backs of the Candelas, and it's Liquid suddenly up 2-0. One very sloppy attack, and then one much better attack, much more thorough on the planning and execution on that one.
I think maybe they got a little too aggressive on some of those peaks from Empire's side. They didn't need to play that time, because you saw how slow Liquid were last time. Just play off of that. Burn as much time as possible. Make sure you can stay alive. Joystick maybe did throw his life away a little bit in the sense that that didn't buy them a ton of time, but there was good combo of utility usage from Paula to knock away the shield just in time for the shots to come down, and well, not a ton you can do about that. That I suppose the Captel can be a little better in that sometimes, depending on how you coordinate between the two, but either way, still was effective, and I would not want to see them try that a third time, but we'll see them instead going down the vents, just giving up on playing that bomb site for now, which seems like the right call. We'll see if they can do any better downstairs.
They're also giving up on the Clash, which seems to probably be the right call now that Liquid are pacing themselves a lot better.
Yeah.
The course of the round, they're not waiting for the last 20 seconds, because that's where the Clash would really come into play.
And it also means Shepard can get back on his smoke, so Karjeka can then play the Legion, which I think he's a pretty good Legion player as well. So overall lineup-wise, I think this will work out a little bit better for the team. This time, no Shockwave instead playing on the Maestro. He's going to be on the Valkyrie, fighting that intel for his team. And we'll see if he's going to be effective on that in terms of also with the MPX, which we had seen him do a little bit of previously on Coastline as well. I think a good operator for him. And they're going to have the castle, which is certainly standard for Vents defenses, so we'll see if those end up effective or not in terms of slowing the attack down. They do, of course, have 2 soft destructors to be able to clear that out. They could also benefit from, depending on where those are placed, actually going for the cluster or the fuse style attack with the Candelas, sending them straight through the castle barricade. Probably not something we'll see happen, but it is something that is a possibility if you don't mind your legs or feet being exposed for just a moment.
Well, it looks like Ness popped open the double castle barricade on the waiting room door to main lobby and bathroom hallway, and then immediately ripped open a hole in the wall to sight on the edges of workshop doorway. So lots of line of sight garnered now from waiting room with a long ACOG angle, and Gohan droning in, going to establish that there's no one and nothing to stop Zig from popping open the wall, so he'll do that immediately. He's checking for any Legion mines placed at the armory door. That's an interesting place to crouch down and go for a drone, but he gets away with it as the drone is the biggest distraction immediately.
Joystick, though, is pinned down here potentially behind half walls. He's got to fight at least 2. If anyone can win this fight, I imagine he possibly could, because he has been a thorn often being here, but Shock. First kill there on the pallet. That is the other soft destructor down, and something that was a pain for Shepard last time. So great early kill, although Shock did take a bit of damage in the process.
Paul was also the man watching for runouts last time, responsible for killing 2 of the members that were running out. But here comes Gohan. Joystick, though, will drop Zig. An immediate reaction there from Gohan. Another jump out from Joystick over that half wall. He'll dispatch a Nesk as a second victim lays at his feet. The missed shots here from Sexy Kate back and forth with the T-95. The Candela gets immediately gobbled up by the ADS. And now it's Gohan below, still trying to pursue him out of this half wall. Candela is still being eaten up majorly by the ADSs. Joystick finally full blinded behind the wall, but Sexy Cake still doesn't push off that. He's expended all of his utility in trying to get one man from behind half wall, and still hasn't even moved 2 feet ahead.
I mean, I hate to laugh at this, but this is almost comical how much effort is taken between the Buck doing a scouting key underneath, the Candelas, the fact that Joystick's already killed 2. All this utility expended just on Joystick. Empire have won this just on utility alone. There's so little they can do at this point. I mean, yeah, there's some scouting keys left and a grenade, But this is desperation at this point. 33 seconds left for Liquid. They're going to have to make a serious play to make this happen, because Joystick might even just clutch it out if they do.
Sexy Cake is vaulted off and using all the utility to try to get Joystick out behind half wall inside of Armory, and eventually just giving up on it as they run out of time, putting their head against a brick wall monotonously. But now inside of Bathroom Hallway, Gohan will try and vault into the site and establish some site presence. He's got 2 lined up. The Skeleton Key can't even get 1. Karzeka shuts it down as Shepard was down but not out, and Sexy Cake alone, twisting in the wind. There's no real target to look at. Flustered, he will stop his tracks inside of Custom. So Empire able to bring 1 back as they switch up their defensive objective and head downstairs and finally find some success.
The funniest part to me is after all that, they still didn't kill Joystick.
Yeah.
He had to throw his life away last round for them to get the kill on him. Just fantastic play, and that is the thing we've seen time and time for him. Behind that half wall, he absolutely plays it right, and there we go. Nice run out. Good use of that intel coming out from those cameras. Nice place here. Gohan, though, just didn't seem to be able to do much with that. Did at least get that kill, though, on the C4 throw, but just Joystick just, I don't know, he's in such a small area, yet somehow he makes it feel like this big area he could run. I mean, they tore open the floor, so he just jumped over the wall and killed them instead.
Well, it's a complete different turnaround for Joystick, considering that the Thatcher is banned, and now he has access to his Jaeger. He's having a very, very fun time right now, especially when no one is able to really get rid of his ADSs without just strictly burning them. Gohan hasn't been doing a great job at least getting rid of the ADSs from below and really causing enough havoc. Obviously, he stayed outside because ventilation was the objective, and he didn't want to walk into a crossfire. But he wasn't successful in even pushing Joystick off of the same spot he wanted to sit in the whole time. There was no angle really where he could push him out, and there was no attempt at the frag grenades from down below after the Candelas had burnt out the ADSs. It was a poor attempt at getting Joystick out, and just a lot of time and utility wasted in the efforts.
I felt like with the Buck Skeleton Key below, it was like he was just dancing on hot coals at that point. But we are going to see one change up on this bomb site now that we're going to for the 3rd time. Is now they're not going to try with the Clash. Shepard will be back on Smoke, and you saw he had 0 kills because, of course, he was playing on the Clash before, so you're not going to be getting a lot of kills with that. We'll see if that might change. This round is now Karzeka is going to be on the dock instead of the Legion. See if that ends up being useful as well, as that will provide an ACOG that he didn't have on Legion. Gohan going to be still doing his Buck thing, though, which has had mixed results. I'd say he's supposed to have gotten a kill pretty much every round at this point, but it's not always been, I suppose, as effective as a flank as he wants. Sexy Cake not having the one-trick pony, although he does bring the pony here, of being able to play his glasses instead, just going to be sticking continuously on this Ying. And I wouldn't say it was very effective either of the rounds. It was just, I mean, he's managed to at least try and put some pressure on, but it's just never really turning directly into a lot of control or kills. Nesk doing what he pretty much does most rounds, which is holding this angle here on here, in case anyone wants to rotate over to a position he can catch off guard, because he's just giving a chance for the rest of his team to get in position, although it is funny for an Ashe player to be holding an angle nearly from spawn. But again, they are not contesting that any more than they were contesting the garage wall, despite having the Bandit, because, well, they've got the Buck to deal with instead. There's only so much you can do with Bandit on that wall. So again, it's going to get opened.
Bomb located by attacker.
And we'll see if they can manage their time a little bit better with only a minute and a half left, despite not having to fight the shield.
Well, here comes Gohan again, the Skeleton Key down below, and he's just inches away, but he finally spots out an ADS, and that'll be crucial in Sexy Cake being able to have some penetration into the objective with those Candelas. And Zig launching in flashbangs to burn out the last remaining ADS at the half wall, and this is going to trigger Joystick to push out further and try and take a more aggressive stance around the corner from behind the A-bomb to try and cut down anyone rushing in for this plant attempt on the backs of those Candelas.
Now someone's going to have to go for that flank on Gohan down there. He's so focused on doing his thing. He's actually moved outside now to push the sandwich window again. The Candela's coming out here, the last one now, as the smokes are going to have to do their job.
Karzeka, as he goes full blind, will collect a headshot onto Sexy Cakes, though, and there goes the defuse attempt. Zig will fall at the hands of Shepard, getting low on a prone hole, and Paula still holding flank down below. Scyther just blasts himself into the stratosphere, but Joystick will at least trade it out onto Paula. The diffuser is still down on Armory wall, and there's shotgun holes being made on a small office by Shepard. There's not a lot to be done here if you're Liquid. Nesca, though, will take down Shockwave. Still have a rotate coming up from Joystick downstairs as he's playing below through these kill holes, and he'll get another one through the holes in the floor. Nesca will fall. It's all to go on. He's recovered the diffuser with 15 seconds left. Trying to go for a full site rotate over to Archives. He's peeking 90, and Karzeka just doesn't see the head for a moment, but as he turns the corner, Joystick coming back up metal. Again, ends the round with authority. A huge round for Joystick.
He said, this may be your map, but you're in my house. Certainly punishing everyone for not banning Jaeger against him this round. Yes, banning the Echo was a nice idea, but seems to be working against them here as now freeing up Joystick to do his thing. He doesn't need gadgets so much as he just needs a good gun, good bolts, good mobility. Absolutely playing off that. The Candelas, much like the gimmickry of the, well, that's what happened to Scyther, I guess, who decided, you know what, I'm not even gonna pick it up. My team's got this, they'll pick it up for me. Joystick comes in. I guess he distracted for Joystick there. A little light show.
Ooh, what a shot by Nesk.
What an interesting round there.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
It hasn't been the prettiest, honestly. This whole game has not been the prettiest, but it is desperation mode for both teams. Elimination map for the both of them. It's either a trip to the semifinals against Norengo tomorrow as the first semifinal, or a trip to the bleachers to join everyone else in these lovely seats watching on the big screen.
And that's the thing about the playoffs versus the group stages. There is no losers bracket here. There's just the losers bench. You just wait for your plane trip home on Monday. Try and enjoy the sights and sounds till then, as only one team gets to move forward, so we will see those bleachers filling up with teams as we go. But so far, looking like Empire with a decent start. Lockers was a little bit of a struggle for them at first, but they did come back and win it, but it does force them to their third bomb site. They were, Dev Martin was saying he didn't want to see a good customs defense, so maybe Empire will deliver for him this round, because they're going to have to play. But this is down to Shockwave doing a good job holding upstairs. You saw the ADS for him as well, opening up some angles for himself with the impact nades. Karzeka could be playing the long angles with his ACOG, possibly even using the Doc Stim pistols to keep his teammate alive a little bit longer. Might even be calling out for a rotate on that ADS, but I don't think Joystick's going to want to make the dangerous run out to get across there, but you never know. He's a brave soul. Nesk going to be doing what he always does regardless of the bomb site. That is his doorway.
I find it interesting that the two bans that were really used to go against Team Liquid by Empire, both the Ying and now the Glaz, both operators Sexy Cake has had limited to no success with. It seems like these operators that are very common for Liquid to use and a lot of Latin American teams to use, just they aren't fooling Empire.
Oh, unfortunately for Scyther, he didn't hear the thermite charge being planted on the wall to be able to ban and trick it, or didn't have any batteries left, and now he's going to be left a little more exposed. They have passport open, but now they're switching towards a top floor attack. So once that's open, they figure the focus will be downstairs. Good drone here by Zig. He's going to spot out Joystick. This is where it's going to depend on Nesk with some quick play to make some things happen here. He's got to worry about this window as well. So there's 3 people to fight up here at the very least to turn that top floor to control into something, but it's a minute 30 left. All they've got to do is buy time upstairs here because they can't take the top floor. They cannot accurately take this bomb site.
Well, reverting to older ways as Paula holds a tight angle inside of break rooms. Karzeka's going to overheal himself to take this engagement. He knows where Paula is, just at the back of the break room, and he lands the beautiful headshot. Paula had no chance on the pre-fire from Karzeka. Still overhealed in the back of circle monitors, and Liquid continue to stall out in this CCTV clear. All they have open is passport check.
Oh no, that's not going to help.
Slippery fingers today for the gentleman on Liquid, and honestly Scyther on the other side for Empire. But Joystick will back on. He'll get 2 onto Nesk and Liquid on a run out outside of the CCTV window. Shockwave with another one on a Sexy Cake. Suddenly it's Go on in a 1v5 and 10 HP, cooking a frag grenade in absolute vain. The Toxic Babe will choke him out as he's locked in a box against the wooden barricade. And that is Empire storming back and taking command now in the first half, up 3-2, looking to make it 4.
I know we talk a lot about Joystick, when the stats don't necessarily reflect that. But I think we've demonstrated that when he's able to do his thing, it is Empire rounds. Whether that be on Jaeger or last map when he was on Vigil, it is, whether that be the finishing kill or just being a huge pain for them, much the same way we saw Pala and Gohan doing, It is hugely important for his team, but also Shepard is such a great smoke, and you saw it right there even with the finishing kill. Liquid looking a bit down, they're going to take their technical timeout. Sensei trying to call what he sees. This is what's going on, guys. This is what you need to change. You had a lead with those first 2 rounds, and now it is slipping out of your fingers. You are down a point, and look at this smile coming out of Joystick after all of those rounds where he's able to just kind of just run roughshod on him and do his thing, especially in lockers.
Yeah, Joystick was having a day to forget to start things off. Honestly, Joystick and Karzeka both were not having the hottest beginning to Coastline. But then we moved through the back half of Consulate after Liquid take the 3-0 lead. Empire storm right back. And now continuing into Border, it's an early jump ahead for Liquid, but a great response with 3 consecutive for Empire. It's on the backs of Joystick and Karzeka really showing up for the team when they need them most. And now Liquid, again, they start off hot on a map and cool off real quick. The counteractive nature of Empire is working flawlessly, and they'll head back to Ventilation and Workshop. Try and lock things out. And Shockwave, there's no chance they're bringing out the Clash after losing 2 with it.
No,
going to the Valk.
Let's cover up what he's going to 6-2, and Valk has definitely been good for him. But the important thing is they've proven they can win all 3 bomb sites, which they just did in a row. So they're not going back to a weak bomb site. They're going to a bomb site that was their first win on this map. So far, one they know well, one they played strongly, one that was very difficult. Now, of course, a big part of that was them just not being able to do anything about Joystick sitting up on the half wall in lockers. If they continue to be unable to do anything about that, this is just going to be another round flush down the toilet, and Sexy Cake continuing to bring the impotent disco balls to not really accomplish a whole lot. It's going to have to be a bit more coordinated. Gohan's going to have to do his thing on the floor earlier and continue to put pressure there. He can't just fire and forget. He's got to work in tandem with his teammates to keep him out from behind the half wall if he's going to play that again. Because, of course, Joystick could be playing somewhere else. But also great play from a lot of the rest of the players. Certainly not all on him. But it was entertaining to watch either way and what he was able to accomplish when he was just able to play his thing on that half wall. Some good cameras coming out here, nearly in their spawn at this point. He's going to get some good vantage point, but he's going to get spotted. That's not going to lead to any runouts just yet, or is it? Favorite Shockwave, he is going to be punished by Nesk if he does, so hopefully he's thinking twice about this.
Well, I've seen that exact camera placement and playing position for a Valkyrie before. It was Waka. The runouts and the drone will just spot Shockwave, fake out a peek towards Nesk at the end of the balcony, and they'll just retreat back to half wall inside of Armory, and even deeper actually. So that looks like it's Joystick playing half wall. Probably his favorite spot on the entire map.
Yeah, I imagine he probably has a half wall in his bedroom at home just to practice on. That is definitely going to slow Nesk down a little bit, though, the fact that he wasn't able to get anything out of that peak. But this is where the wall gets opened up, and it's going to be on Nesk to try and act quickly on this or do something to pressure that half wall significantly, because they need to do it early so they have utility left, they have people left to do something with that kill. Otherwise, it becomes an impactless frag. And Gohan already taken 25 HP in damage, no damage yet to Empire, and a 1.5 minute burn. Empire, again, sitting in a good position on this. However, a lot of drones have managed to get away like that. Peak hole has been spotted, so Karzeka could get killed out pretty easily here, even by just a spray through the wall if they identify he's still behind that. He is at least using the reinforced wall to his advantage. Engagement between Zig and Joystick, though, costing each of them half their life.
Joystick still in behind the half wall and fakes the first Candel, but he'll get down in behind the half wall. Karzeka still battling, repelling Sexy Cake and Nesk into getting into Armory. They'll finally sprint right through as Karzeka will drop the hatch, and finally Joystick will be removed from half wall, but it took 2 minutes, a lot of utility, and they lost Gohan in the process. It's a 4v4 with less than a minute remaining for Liquid to try and turn this into a successful conversion on a site attack.
Gotta say, in that sense, Joystick still did his job there. It is fortunate for him, they didn't know right away if they downed him. Ooh, some nice shots there. Sexy Cake taking a lot of damage. Paula as well, low on health as he falls. Sexy Cake down. It is not looking great again for Liquid to make this execute with such little manpower in 33 seconds.
Trying to hold the top control currently is Paula, as Zig and Nesk rotate their way downstairs, try and facilitate and execute into Ventilation. Probably one of the hardest places to get a plant off, and it's actually Paula downstairs in Nest topside. Apollo rotating his way through supply room. He's going to catch Scyther off guard. He's got no clue. Shot and gun down from behind, now leveling things at a 3v3. But the plan still needs to come out, and it looks like Zig is having trouble crossing through the hallway. He's going to hit a Legion Mine. Oh, what a great reaction there from Shockwave. Nesk will trade out Karzeka in the process. Down to a 2v2. Shockwave again, clutching out the round as Nesk is a Legion Mined in. Diffuser down. Empire on a run, up 4-2 after the first half.
Well, it's not the flawless defensive run that they had in the last map, but it's the next best thing. Coming into it with a 4-2, it's looking strong for them. It is definitely the Liquid we saw earlier, slowly melting away. They are definitely going to have to come back here, and they've already used their tactical timeout, so there is no resetting at this point. They are just going to have to find a round that they can call their own and build on top of that from here, or it's it for them, because they are now 3 rounds away from being done for the weekend.
Well, we finally got a new operator in
the
midst of Empire.
Watch him 6-pick away from it. Nope, he won't. Not enough time to, all right.
Taking a Maverick.
And defuse as many bombs as they can.
Appropriately named then.
Interesting. It really leads me to believe, especially with the Hibana on Scyther, that they do not want to attempt an armory wall take. The last time we saw these guys try and attack armory wall with a Hibana, it did not go well, and they kept running it into the ground over and over and over again, and losing consecutive rounds to Penta over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. They could go for a Archives push. They could go for a Lockers push. They could even go for the door plant, which we don't see terribly often, but is something that is a possibility. But I would like to see what that Maverick is going to do. Will he find some nice spots to peek on through? Could even see him coming from offices and use that to peek into Archives to get a nice long angle all the way into Lockers, potentially past the desk, which could be pretty useful, and use those reinforced walls against them in that. He's able to kind of catch them in the right spot. But we'll see. There's definitely plenty of cameras coming out from Liquid to be able to spot things gone sideways, as they have at least the Black and Evil Eyes here. And then Nesk's going to be doing his thing, again, matching joystick in terms of the Ash Jaeger mains. This is kind of the story. This is the battle of those.
Wow, that looked like Nest getting a little aggressive and spotting out the Valkyrie camera. Pretty obvious one at that. A frag grenade goes flying in, and it'll barely touch Paula, down to about 76 HP. As he retreats and will no longer try to play aggressive in the AC window, trying to conserve his life, as Liquid already down 2 rounds. They're 3 rounds away from complete elimination from the Invitational.
The important thing is you got to guard that C4 at that point. Obviously, he doesn't have to adjust his cameras the way that Maestro does, but that C4 is oh so important, especially when you have a lot of angles you can throw it at that will safeguard the diffuser from being planted. You don't necessarily need to play a lot of these bomb sites the same way you do with Pulse and certain other maps. Joystick going to give away his position, a little bit pressuring his way in here, but he has taken good control of offices. Looks like that is the play here, is going on that side if they can get enough control of it. If not, it'll be too little to rotate. Pala does take a little bit more damage as well, but Scyther has taken a bit more.
The hot contest from back and forth between Paula and Scyther at the bottom of each stairs, but here comes Joystick just perusing his way through Fountain, takes a shotgun blast to the chest and backs off to safety, and he'll expend Sexy. Backs off even deeper now, and you've got Shepard downstairs dealing with the Paula downstairs, trying to utilize these kill holes against the Archives wall to make sure it can't be breached open. You got Joystick looking back down in reciprocation as well. You can use an Ash charge right above the shower stall, try and push Paula out of his favorite position. But there's a Nitro cell that Joystick has to be very wary of, and as soon as Paula feels like he's got him in his crosshairs, he's gonna let it rip and blast Joystick off.
Well, at least luckily he is a 3-speed and might hear that Velcro route just in time as the floor is already opened, so he doesn't have as much element of surprise, and well, he's already pulled off it anyways. This is where the Maverick needs to do something to help your Scyther. Surprisingly still alive, and he's got to stay alive if he wants to use that utility, as he had still used 0 of his 3x Kairos. This is definitely a bit of a war of attrition, as now time is ticking away, and we're looking at what's similar to what happened to Liquid, potentially happening to Empire here on this attack.
Down the Archives doors, it's a full-on office attack, and Zig trying to make sure that no one is pressing to the backside of Fountain or coming through metal stairs, and he's pre-aiming and pre-firing and just missing by a hair on Joystick as they begin to push in now. 15 seconds left though, and they're trying to avoid the toxic gas of Gohan lighting up the entirety of Archives, spotting out the head of the Jaeger of Nesk inside of CCTV, but can't land the shot. Scyther has to go in for the kill. He gets one, but he drops down. lighting up, but there's no time left, and Paulo will lock it out with 2 kills. The diffuser never in control at the end, and no chance for a plant with all the gas choking everyone out as they try to push into the breach hole. A good response there from Team Liquid, bringing 1 back.
Well, great play from Paulo there, but this is going to be interesting is to see whether or not the other bomb sites are any good, because what we saw from Empire was the only bomb site they lost was that one. If Liquid can't return in kind and can only successfully defend Armory, then it still will be all for them at this point, because while they're only 1 point behind, you can't continue to repeat the same bomb site without switching, and right now you have to wait 2 rounds before you can come back to it. So we'll see, can they defend ventilation as well as they just defended lockers? And I think the big difference there was that was the only attempt to push from offices, which is the thing that failed. So I can imagine you go to lockers again, and Empire might not go for that push. They might just go for a lockers push instead, and maybe that'll be slightly more successful. Hard to say though. We'll see how that goes here from this team. They are going to be bringing similar lineup to last time, although this time instead of having the Jaeger, they're going to bring in the Legion from Nesk, which is something else he plays fairly well.
Pretty hard office hold coming out right now for Liquid. At least a lot of utility with an Evil Eye and a couple of Black Eyes being deployed inside of offices. Full reinforcements coming out on the Armory wall is pretty standard, so a lot of elevation here for Liquid as they try to maintain control over the entirety of the top floor. And Paul is the only Team Liquid player with a positive KD right now. He's plus 13. He's the only one positive.
And he is new this season to this team, and he has definitely made it worth their while to pick him up. Definitely a strong player, and no one is really that surprised to see him playing very well at this point.
Jammer initiated.
Although it is a bit of a surprise to see that he is outgunning Nest.
He's outgunning everyone on his own team.
It's true.
It's gotta be a pretty annoying situation to be in, having to carry the load like that versus, at least in maps 2 and 3, the shared workload from Team Empire.
We'll see if these holes in the ground as well end up being beneficial or actually work against him in this hold. Because once they take top floor control, of course, that is holes that could be used against the defense downstairs. If that factors in, they have the Evil Eyes here, which have been more effective in killing drones, as you see there. Oh, finally missing some, though. Shepard gonna get away with it, and as he switches off, that will be the drone being able to rotate past it. So finally, Empire being spared a drone. Maybe that'll be the game changer for this round.
I imagine Shockwave is looking for a camera if he was spotted. He's just twisting and turning, cycling back and forth in common corners, and finally the Archives wall will get opened up as we approach the midway point in the round, and Joystick's going to hop back on the rappel, try and get a sharper angle on this, see if anyone's going to rotate over. There's 3 people right now for Team Liquid, all over by the small office and half wall inside of Armory.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of doing his own thing solo, as usually he does. Just kind of trying to put a bunch of hurt on them as much as possible. And Gohan being down here, Zig is going to go for the revive, and they could punch that shot, could punch that with a grenade right now if he had any left, which he doesn't. Instead, he's looking for a rotate that doesn't happen. And Gohan gets picked back up. That is a big mistake here for Shockwave, letting that happen. If Gohan's a bit of pain, he does do a bit of damage there, but it's not enough.
Unable to collect the kill onto Gohan to the floor. Joystick takes a lot of damage, but finally Shockwave will push through the skeleton key and obliterate Gohan into the afterlife. Now ducking him behind the hailstorm of bullets flying upon him, and oh, what a shot by Karzeka from waiting room. Paulo will respond with one of his own onto Joystick. It's the Ash upstairs, and the majority of the top clear taken away. Just one remaining in Shepard, and that's all they need. There goes Sexy Cake down to a 2v4. Separation for Liquid. Paula and Nesk left alone. Oh, and they all come down at once. Empire respond back with an affirmative round of their own, and they take another 2-round lead. They are 2 rounds away from the semifinals.
Well, unfortunate for Liquid, that doesn't mean they can't go back to lockers just yet. They're going to either have to repeat it or play a different bomb site. So we'll see if their Vents defense will be a little bit better next time, if they're going to continue with that, which I imagine they would, just because it's the best secondary bomb site on the map at the moment, so they are going to stick to that for now. But a 2-point lead here that is 2 away from winning this whole match here so far. Not looking great. Paula could only carry so much weight that round, and despite Gohan getting revived and getting away, he was quickly traded off right after that. So the kill onto Joystick just wasn't impactful enough to change that round in their favor. And I gotta say, a good flank by Shepard as well, getting that kill onto Sexy Cake and taking that top floor control again. Really turned things around.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Gohan 6 picking over to Elysian as he's been bounced around a few roles now, and he'll find himself on a Elysian roll in a scenario in which I imagine Team Liquid are trying to slow down Empire, because that was a very fast top clear, a very fast conversion into a bathroom hole, or a teller's hole, sorry. Completely ripped apart any kind of rotations in the back of server rack and workshop, and it became a split retake, and just not enough manpower to come through and flank anyone on Empire, everything being held perfectly by the Russian squad, and they decimate the top hold with ease.
Well, in this case now, it does mean Ness can go back to Jaeger, which is the only round that they have won so far in their defense. He was playing that Jaeger, so now that he's freed of the Legion role, hopefully Gohan can play that successfully. It also does mean they will be able to guard against grenades, something that might have been a bit of a problem for them in the bathroom, so Gohan himself can be protected by that, so he can continue to play as you like to say, his favorite spot inside there and make sure he stays nice and clean. But now with the, not with the fresh scent of grenades, Joystick doing what he's been doing continuously, which is nearly getting a kill there. Oh, there we go. The good start. I mean, you got to have predicted he was going to be going over here. Nearly gets some damage there as well through the softball in terms of the kill. Sex Cake as well, pretty low on health, and Gohan also. This is looking like a good start here for Empire. If they can just keep this up in this round, then it's over, but they've also got to manage their time. Something Joystick's certainly helping with, and looks like we're going to see Kajeka also potentially helping with if we can open some pathways up.
Goes and fashions a rotate out for Gohan at the back of Fountain, triggering Legion Mine his Joystick as he hops in radio desk window, but he's already set the tone marvelously to the beginning of this round, taking down more Legion Mines that he'll run into, so Gohan's objective, at least slowing down Empire, is working in the mid-round, but the beginning did not end so well for Liquid, taking a lot of damage to the Sexy Cake, Gohan, and the death of Ness. It's a good spot to be in if you're Team Empire, still trying to barrage their way through into that bathroom hallway, completely take over the top control in Archives, and push through for the final kills in the backs of Workshop.
I do like that Karjeka was covering him every time he got a goo mine in his foot, so he was able to back off and regroup. But it did cost them a bit of time here. Now they know where everyone's at. They're actually getting away with their drones. The drone economy definitely better this map than we've seen previously in a lot of the rounds. Joystick going for the kill here again, though. He's going to give away his position by opening up this wall, but a lot of counter pressure also coming from his teammate Karjeka. I like the way these two are working together here because they need to take out Paula. He is such a problem, but Karjeka gives away his position as well and punished for it. Joystick has to make this worth his teammate's sacrifice, and he does. There we go. A little bit of smoke damage, but worth it.
Joystick able to trade out Paula. Thankfully, he still has Sexy Cake to contend with in behind the metal half wall, the small office door. Clearing out the barbed wire, another toxic bay will come out, leaving just one remaining for Sexy Cake as Gohan and Zig in the back of Workshop, trying to hold off through this bathroom hallway push. Joystick still upstairs, the Shockwave, Scyther, and Shepard all descend downstairs to try and smother the remaining two defenders on site. Slowly rotating around his Shockwave, and he sees the arms, able to tag it twice, and Zig on 1 HP. Trying to launch out a Nitrous Hell, but Scyther and Joystick both grab kills. It's up to Sexy Cake upstairs. Last man alive in a 1v4, and he's downing Shepard. Trying to rotate in through Fountain, he just missed Joystick on the rotate, the drone pinging him away. Now he has to rotate back through Archives to contend with Joystick, laying prone by the printer desk. Using the shotgun, look down through the kill holes, will stand up on a quick peek twice, and he sees Joystick, and he downs him with the shotgun. That's two, but he's got two more to find and to stick the counter defuse. And up to the floor, Shockwave for the hatch will end the run of Sexy Cake, trying to replicate his clutch from yesterday. And it's one round away for Team Empire to semifinals.
And again, I know we repeat this a lot, but people tune in at different points, but this is a map that hugely favored Liquid. But it doesn't look like it the way the scoreline lies right now, and the way that Empire have been playing. You see now the look of dismay on Liquid's face instead of Empire's. They have found their groove on that middle map. Once they got going on Consulate and had a flawless defensive run, you see the confidence come out here. So many times they got away with just taking damage, Joystick just getting to do his thing. Some great teamwork with Karjeka as well, and just letting Shockwave and Scyther continue to work their way onto the bomb site while they did their thing upstairs. And once Paula was down, it seemed like that was it. That tipped the scales entirely in their favor. You see Paula still with by far the most kills on his team. If they could just continue to shut him down, it's going to be a problem for him here, and he's going to switch back over to that Valkyrie. They can now play their best bomb site, which is the Armory Lockers. This might be enough to stave off one round, but if you win it, guess what you go back to? the bomb site you lost twice. Yeah, you're not in a good position to be able to bring this back, Liquid, unfortunately, and that is not the place you want to be in its do or die situation. Now, there's no more maps to be played for you. No more comebacks from the losers bracket for you to make like you made in groups.
10 seconds remaining.
You're out. Joystick. Whew. Okay, this is one time when we could toot his torn.
5 seconds
14, literally doubled his teammates down on Shockwave.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
He's having a good game, and it looks like he's warmed up. He's woken up in Empire, looking to eliminate Latin America's only hope in the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal number 2. The winner of this game will move on to face Norengo, who defeated Fnatic earlier today 2-0 in the top semifinal.
Well, Joystick going to be doing what he's been doing every time, which is entering here from the opposite side. Now, last time this didn't work out super well, and he was shut down a bit earlier than he would have liked to, but this is going to be read into. They know he likes to make this entrance. I like that he spotted the Evil Eye before it could take out his drone this time, although we did hear the shots just going down a second later. So it might have taken down at least one drone, but he's able to get in. He can use his breach charge to take that out, especially if that wasn't on an unreinforced wall as well, that could have just been taken down by a Buck or anyone else destroying the soft wall around it, although I didn't really see if it was reinforced or not. He is going to be able to get in and get control, partially even of Fountains, and cut off this rotate. This is the important part here. He's looking for this long angle. They have part of the wall opened up, which is actually working now in Joystick's favor if he lands his shots first. But he's moving back a lot and now going to give away his position, burning the ADS, and it is punished by Gohan, who absolutely takes advantage of his ACOG.
Threading the needle, Gohan will dispatch of Joystick, the all-star, in this matchup for sure. So more drones will come out from Empires. That will set back their immediate progression that they were making, honestly, with no hesitation and no resistance. A Nitro Cell flies wide errands at the radio desk, and it's not going to connect. Karzeka losing a little bit of health, but it won't be enough to put him in the grave. Karzeka still rotating and trying to take this long angle battle again against Gohan. This seems like a pretty big mistake for Empire to continuously challenge this.
Yeah, it's something where they've got to fight against an ACOG themselves, so they no longer have the advantage in that battle. This seems mistaken. They're stacking up pretty heavily now on offices. They've got to fight Gohan. They've got to fight, well, all of Team Liquid still alive. Once they open up this wall, all of Liquid can turn around pretty much and watch, and there's no flank coming out, and they certainly don't have any manpower advantage to do something here. All they have is ADS is cleared, and the 2 grenades do nothing. These punch holes just going to keep them watching for Nesk to potentially get a free kill here in just a moment.
Anticipating Nesk to just pre-fire through as soon as he sees one thing, and as he does, it won't connect on anyone, unfortunately, and everyone on Empire will hit the deck, avoiding the hailstorm of bullets coming through that soft wall, and they'll keep Nesk pinned down in CCTV. He doesn't have a rotate, but there's 20 seconds left, and they all got to storm the site. Paula and Sexy Cake are down below with an Evil Eye, going to ping out everyone. Shockwave, though, will at least take down one on site. Gohan with the immediate trade onto Karzeka. They got to pile in. There's 9 seconds ticking away. All the pings coming out, and I'm waiting for the Nitro Cells downstairs. Scyther planning on an indestructible surface, and Shockwave will cut down Nesk. Paula gonna find a Nitro Cell onto Shockwave, but they get the plant down. Shepard with a trade onto Gohan. It's a 2v2. This could be it. Empire to the semifinals, or Liquid staving off an elimination. Going for a rotate down 90. Are both Sexy Cake and Paula trying to challenge, and Paula will go down. Sexy Cake last alive, inside a fountain, point blank range. He'll down off one. It's just Scyther left alone alive on AC with the diffuser down on his window. Drone watching, constantly pinging. 30 HP Sexy Cake right up against the window. He's running out of time. He's gonna bait it out. No, he's sticking on for a little bit longer. 2 seconds, Scyther just needs to jump in and shoot, and Scyther will get it at the very last second. The Russian machine heads to the semifinals against Japan's pride.